Let it bang. For me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome to the Command Post Game Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. Of course, I'm your Commander-in-Chief, Louie Tee. Thank you for joining me. If you've come here for me to be upset or going nuts, just like the Bears game, wrong channel, man. I'm not the guy. I put minimal effort into this game this week because of this very reason. Giants aren't good. We aren't good. Really don't care what happens in the game. All I really cared about was the performance of Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy in particular. I said that this was a test. It was a standardized test, okay? They failed miserably on the placement test in week 7 and had done really well against pressure against Seattle and Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. So I thought they were ready for the standardized version. And what I saw today was I've been clinging to this hope that EB was, still figuring things out, right? Like, man, because my initial gut feel on EB is he's not the right man for the job. This feels Scott Turnerish. There's no rhyme or reason to what he's calling. It just seems like he's just calling plays off of a sheet. There's no, I'm setting this up for later. There's no, rhythm to what he's doing. He's just doing shit. So I was hoping that there was starting to become this, rhythmic kind of, play calling where you're getting into a place where you're getting more comfortable with the players, what they can and can't do, how to set things up. And for the second time when we've worn the black uniforms at home, first of all, if you're not, and I said this the last time, if you're not going to paint the end zones black, don't wear black. Like, it's really, if this is what you're going to do, then we just don't need to wear the black anymore, or just stop calling us the Commanders and let's be the football team. Because that's piss poor pathetic that you can't even have enough energy, enough wherewithal, enough presence of mind to just say, hey, that's lazy to just paint the end zones black. I don't understand why the end zones are burgundy and we're wearing all black, but that's nor here nor there. That's a totally different conversation for another day. They failed the test miserably. And the biggest culprit today is EB, along with the players. I saw zero fight out of these players today. The only fight that I saw was right before the half when they tried to go after Sam. Terry McLaurin looked disinterested today. That deep ball on the last possession, he didn't fight for that. That shit fell harmlessly to the ground. He didn't try to get back. He could have drawn a penalty, anything. He didn't fight for that. These guys are done. They're cooked. And we got a quick turnaround on Thursday. It could get ugly on Thursday. We might lose by 50 on national television because these guys have quit. That performance today is of a team that has tuned Ron and company out, and they're done. They're finished. Stick a fork in them. It's Thanksgiving time. Cut them up and slice them to the Cowboys because these boys are finished. I shudder to think of what it's going to look like on Thursday. I really, truly do. Offensively, here's the biggest issue I had with today's game. Who are we? What is our identity? What are we trying to be? Like, make up your mind. Figure out what you want to be and be that, right? Like, this entire year we've been this pass-heavy offense. We're going to win off the strength of our quarterback throwing the football around the yard, quick pass game, screen game, and then that sort of thing, right? What are we doing? This reminded me of the Bears game. You're playing a team that's worse than you are, okay? A team that you should be able to beat. You shouldn't be looking to shorten the game. That's what the Giants should have been doing to us. Instead, they were the ones aggressive in throwing the football. They didn't even run it until the end of the game, and then they gutted us. So I don't understand what we're doing. When we played the Bears, they're not a good team. They were winless at the time, and we wanted to run the football. Against a bad team, you want to stretch the game out. Because in your mind, over time, the better team is going to ultimately win the game. As the game progresses, the better team is going to ultimately make more plays than the bad team, and they're going to win. or the team that's worse than them, because these are two bad teams. Don't get it twisted. Two horrible teams. And we're out here running a football. That third quarter drive in which Chris Rodriguez fumbled, or even the drive before that when we kicked the field goal. We took up 6 minutes of the third quarter clock to kick a field goal? You think you're going to win the game doing that? That's winning football for you? And some of you in the mob were excited about this. Oh, this is great play calling. Really? It is? You're happy about us running the football and then selling for a field goal? You happy about us running the football and then turning it over? This is what you want? You want to run the football so we can turn it over? Run the football so we can burn up 6 minutes of the clock and kick a field goal? My biggest issue, where's the play action off of the running? You're having success, a lot of it. Where is the heavy play action off of the running that gives you a chance to take advantage of the success you're having on the ground? I didn't see it. Not once did we go max protect, deep shot opportunity. Not once. I am baffled at what I watched today from EB as a play caller. This was terrible. It lacked continuity. It lacked any fluidity. And it lacked common sense. I'm over it. Everybody. Matter of fact, I would like to see walking papers today. Let the players coach themselves. How about that? Fire everybody and let who's the most veteran player on the team? Tressway. Let Tressway coach the team, man. At this point, everybody is trash. Offense, defense, head coach, everybody. Let Ryan Kerrigan coach the team for all I care. I mean, this shit is a joke at this point. And that's not even getting to the players who were absolutely disinterested today. Abysmal. 6 turnovers today. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. 6 turnovers today. 6. Who are you beating with 6 turnovers? Huh? The fact that we even had the ball with a chance is a testament to how bad the Giants are. That we turned it over 6 times and had a shot. 5 turnovers and we were driving for the game-winning score. Unfreaking believable. Don't talk to me about the defense tonight either, guys. I don't want to hear that shit either. About, the defense stepped up. No, they didn't. Because if you stepped up, you would have done what the Raiders did to this garbage-ass Giants football team. You would have did what Dallas did to them last week. Okay? Dallas gave up 17 points, and really it was like 10. It's 42-10, and they took out all of their starters. The Giants didn't even score a touchdown against the damn Raiders. If they did, it was garbage time touchdown. They got their ass whooped 30-6. Don't talk to me about the defense, okay? Don't talk to me about them keeping us in this game. How about you keep them out of the end zone? We turned Danny DeVito into Tommy DeVito. Hey, Tommy, baby, come here, Tommy. Hey, this effing kid over here. Hey, Tommy, hey, come here. Come here, Tommy. Hey, Tommy. For 1 week, you're a made man, my friend. Hey, this effing kid over here, Tommy. Hey, somebody get this kid a beer. Hey, Tommy. 3 touchdowns for Tommy. Hey, 3 cheers for Tommy. Hip, hip, Tommy. Hip, hip, Tommy. Hip, hip, Tommy. Look at the kid, Tommy DeVito, out here looking like a star. We made that man a made man today. 3 touchdown passes for that man. Did the Giants have a first quarter touchdown this season? I'm asking for a friend. I'm not sure. Did they have a first quarter touchdown this season? I think the answer is no. They got one today. I'm happy that the fellas padded their stats from a sack perspective, because a lot of conversation surrounding this team not getting to the quarterback, but those were empty calories. I mean, they really were. Like, for instance, and this is the difference between us and the Giants. I mean, if we're being honest with each other, they went after the football. Even the one that we recovered at the end by Brian Robinson fumbled, that's a punch out, right? The Logan Thomas fumble, that's a punch out. They were hunting the football. Casey Tuhill gets a free shot at Danny DeVito, who's not even looking. I got to stop calling him that. Hey, Tommy, baby, Tommy, there's something kid over here, hey? Tommy, he doesn't even know. It's three strikes. It's literally a wide receiver screen, and the kid is holding on to the rock. He wants to get crushed. And Casey's just happy to be here, man. Hey, I don't get sacks that often. I'm just happy to get to the quarterback. He didn't even know time. He didn't even know that Casey was coming. Casey could have took the football from him, punched it out of his hand, anything. You know what Casey did? I got to sack him. I got to make sure I get him down on the ground. That's the difference between us and the Giants and teams with dogs that are looking to make plays. They forced 6 turnovers. We couldn't force one. We couldn't even force a single turnover off of Tommy DeVito in the New York Giants. Not one. They tried to take your quarterback out of the game on some whole shit. And you didn't retaliate by being physical or doing nothing. Like I said, this is a poorly coached team. It is reflective in their behavior. EB talks about putting specific behavior on tape, consistent behavior. He hasn't put consistent behavior on tape all season as EB as a play caller. Who's giving you a job, bro? You haven't put consistent behavior on tape all season long. This was, again, you couple this with the first Giants game, and Wink Martindale's got this dude all kinds of confused. All kinds of confused. He doesn't know if he's coming or going against Wink. And Wink didn't even blitz the draws off of him today. Not till the end of the game. Not when it mattered the most. Wink just sat back today and let us self-destruct. I'm done with Logan Thomas. Boy, he's so slow. And he fumbles every time we got the black uniforms on, right on that right sideline. You remember the Bears game? He did the same goddamn thing. Anytime we wear black and he catches one going towards that right sideline, expect a fumble. I'm over him. Like, when this new GM gets in here, it's a lot of guys that they don't, I'm not asking, they got to go. Logan's one of those dudes. And I much like Ronald, I appreciate his service to this team. He's been a good captain, a good spokesman. You know, when he's been healthy, he's done things the right way. God bless him. But he can't play here anymore. He's a liability. You know, another week in a row where Jahan Dotson is a ghost. I'm going to start calling this offense the ghost of Jahan Dotson. Glad he caught a touchdown at the end. But, I mean, what are we doing here, man? We can't get one to football again. Terry looks like he's checked out mentally for the season. Like, Terry's like, yeah, I'm over this shit. I shudder to think what Jonathan Allen is thinking. He had himself a ball game. He's excited about that, and then we still lose the game. Defense can't stop giving up explosives. That's been their calling card all season long. Is you can don't talk to me about 9 or 10 sacks, whatever the number was. Don't talk to me about that shit, because every time you turn around, you're giving up a big ass chunk play somewhere. Whether it's a run to Saquon, a catch to Saquon for a touchdown. The biggest key to the game was, hey, make sure Saquon don't get off. I don't really give a shit what all the rest of these dudes do. Don't let Hyatt catch no deep balls. Don't let Saquon get off. And he still let Saquon get off. In the pass game, in the run game. And for me, for the life of me, I don't understand why Jack, in certain situations, weren't blitzing. Like, you blitzed on first down, and I think he caught the Giants by surprise with how aggressive we were on first and second down. Then we would go conservative on third down. We can't rush for real. Like, let's keep it a buck. We know our D-line ain't that nice. So on 3rd and 15, he's got all day, and now somebody's open. Sitting down in zone coverage. Or on 3rd and 11, somebody's running a corner route and catching the football wide ass open. And I'm like, Jack, you got us to 3rd down by blitzing. Why you stop? Why you stop? I mean, this defense is so infuriating. Again, this was one of those games where you just said, hey, let's just make it fun for Thanksgiving. Because the season was already done when you lost to Seattle last week. It was already done. Just let's make it fun for Thanksgiving. It's not even, Thanksgiving ain't even fun no more. Now I'm just begging, don't embarrass me. Just, I'm back to where I was. I'm back to square one. I'm back to square one now. Don't embarrass me, please. I thought I was past that. Clearly, I'm not, because the Bears game was an embarrassment. We've only been on primetime twice. This will be the second one, okay? This isn't technically primetime, but it is, because we're the only show in town. Everybody will be watching. And for the second time this season, the first time I didn't ask them to not embarrass me. I expected to win. This time I'm like, yo, please don't embarrass me, bro. I got family watching. My kids are watching. My kid is finally understanding the game. I got family and friends and kids watching, man. Please don't embarrass me, man. Please. I'm back to that shit now. I'm back to that. We made Tommy DeVito. Hey, Tommy! Come here. We made Tommy a made man today. If only for a day. Tommy DeVito is a made man. Now, I will say this. We did our part to make sure that the Giants don't get Caleb Williams. And I'm kind of like torn, because I think Caleb Williams could be a cancer. And so on one hand, I'm like, I kind of want him to go to the Giants. Like he didn't want to do the press conference after the loss to UCLA. He declined. So we big time in college ball now. You just declining to do press conferences. That's 2 weeks or a week after you cried to your mom. So that's how we doing it. I kind of want him to go to the Giants, because I think he's a B word, I think. But I know he's talented. Kind of want to keep him out of the division. So we did our part, because they're going to beat New England next week too. The Patriots are done. They're trash. So they're going to beat New England. We're doing our part to make sure, if they in fact go up, to get a quarterback. Because if you want Caleb Williams, he's going to be drafted #1 overall. You're not getting him at 2. Arizona lost today, and by the looks of Arizona, they may not win very many more games either. So the further back we push the Giants, and they're going to win next week, the more they're going to have to, even if they go up to 1 and they do get him, I want them to gut their overall body of work in terms of draft capital. Maybe have to give up a player like the Panthers had to give up last year. If not any players, and you got to get, I want them to get raped, sodomized. I want a splinter broken off in their ass from the broomstick. So put them back as far as you can, because if you're at number 2 and all they're trading back is 1 spot, you're not going to have to give up as much. If they're trading up from, say, 4 or 5, now they got to give up some shit. Multiple first rounders, a second, maybe a third. I'm trying to rape these boys. So we're doing our part to keep them trash, even if they get a quarterback. We want to stunt their growth along the way. We did our part. Okay? So this was a win-win for us. No matter what happened, if we won the game, what were we winning for? To do what? We're not going to the playoffs. So it was a win-win. You win, and it keeps your faint playoff hopes alive. Faint. They were already faint after you lost to Seattle. You lose, and you hurt the Giants. It's a win-win. Everybody wins. The Giants lose today. They win, and they actually lose today. Cardinals lose. Bears lose. They win. They lose. So it's a win for us. I hate to start getting moral victories into the picture, but I've been outside for Sam, and that's it, since the Bears game. So moral victories of this sort, they come with the territory when you quit looking for wins and losses once you saw where this was heading. At this point, it only makes sense, or it only made sense for this team to move on from the coaching staff at the bye week. I think you need to do it now. I think you need to do it now. And again, like, everybody's to blame. The players were awful today. And Sam included. He wasn't good either. He didn't get much help. but he didn't help the situation. Everybody had their hand in this stink that we saw today. But the coaching staff is at the forefront of this because we saw a lifeless team out there today. This is the first time in the Rivera era that I looked at a team and I said, I didn't see a team with fight today. I saw a team showing up to collect the check prior to Thanksgiving. I got Christmas shopping to do. That's what I saw today. I saw disinterested players playing a kid's game, looking as if they wanted to pack up their things for an early vacation. And again, to me, that's a reflection of the coaching staff. When the players aren't ready to go out and win a football game, that's on the coaching staff. They can only do so much. I'm fully aware. They can't control the fumbles, the misses in pass protection, drops like De'Ami Brown had. They can't control that. That's not on them. But they can't control how bad your team wants it, the effort that they put forth. I didn't see that today. I saw it in spurts, but it's lacking. I think Terry finally came to the realization that EB lied to me, man. He sold me a dream. I thought I was about to eat this year. This shit ain't fun. I'd rather go back to Scott Turner. I ain't mad at him for that. I ain't glad at him, though. That ain't how I want my captain operating. But I told y'all in the Patriots game, when Sam had the big run, Terry looked at him and them like, oh, okay, that's cool. Terry been checked out. Terry been checked out. We need some new blood in here. We need some new energy. We need a young guy, too. That's why I can't be Bill Belichick. Because it ain't just about discipline. We need some enthusiasm. We need somebody that's going to give life to this team. We dead. We walking around the field dead right now. All phases. Joey Sly with another missed extra point today. Don't know if it was on Cam Cheeseman. At this point, don't care. As far as I'm concerned, why are we fighting to hold on to a 6th-round pick, long snapper any damn way? When the new GM comes, I'm putting him on the list of dudes that can carry their ass. Along with Logan Thomas and all of the dead weight that we dragging around right now, I'm going to add Cam Cheeseman to that list too. I don't even know if that snap was his fault or if the missed extra point was his fault. I just know I shouldn't be having this conversation. Put his ass on the list too. I'm going to make a list and I'm going to check the bitch twice to make sure that I didn't omit anybody and that I didn't put anybody up there that didn't need to be up there. But I'm going to make a list of all the players that I feel like are dead weight that the new GM can come in here and just move on from. So when he decides to turn this roster over, he got plenty of space to add the players that he so chooses. Because there's a lot of dead weight on this roster. A lot of dead weight on this coaching staff. Clean the whole closet on the staff. Nobody should be here next year. That includes EB. To hell with continuity for Sam. Bring me a new offensive-minded guy. Let Sam learn, and let's get this shit on track. Find me a new offensive-minded dude, because EB ain't it. He not it. Jack Del Rio, hey, appreciate you trying to blitz and be a little bit more aggressive today. But we just don't have the pieces on defense. I wish I could say more, but we just don't have the dogs on the defensive side of the football. And it sucks because we've spent so many resources on that side of the ball. And when you look at the lack of production from that side of the ball, the shit is startling at how bad we are defensively, despite how much we've spent on that defense. Money, draft picks, early round draft picks, 1st round picks, 2nd round picks, et cetera, et cetera. And for us to be in the position that we're in, where I'm sitting here looking you in the face and telling you, we don't have enough talent. That is a bitter pill to swallow. Help is on the way, though. And this is what I tried to warn y'all about last week when I said, hey, some of y'all are missing. It might have been this week. I think it was the first episode, maybe the second one, where I said, guys, understand that before the season started, I told you, we already won our Super Bowl. We already won our Super Bowl. Daniel Snyder's no longer here. Changes will be made. Ronald Rivera will be fired. Jack Del Rio will be gone. EB, not going to be here. There will be wholesale changes. Martin Mayhew, Marty Herning, and company gone. It will be a new day in Washington. We may even have a new name. Who knows? Lots of changes coming in this upcoming offseason. Games like today have been the theme of the season. I don't know why so many of you are surprised. I asked for a blowout. I got it. It just was the other team. I got what I asked for. I specifically said I wanted it to be for us, though. But I'm not surprised. This is why I didn't spend a lot of time on this breakdown. Because I could remember I read to you at the end. Now, that was a 13-7 victory. But I told you, you could see a situation where we come out flat. The Giants have a shot. We turn it over. What was the number one thing I said we couldn't do today? It's not rocket science, guys. Don't turn the ball over. They didn't just turn it over. They were sharing today. Like, they went out of their way to be courteous, to be studious, to be kind. Each one, reach one, and hand one to the opposition. Here you go. We were handing out footballs like Thanksgiving turkeys. We did a donation drive to the Giants today. Hey, 44, you want to pick? Here you go, man. You had a rough season. And you know what? It did bring a smile to my heart, though, to watch a bad Giants team that's been getting their doors blown off, and their teeth kicked in all season, to see them smiling. Because that's what the holiday season is all about. Looking at Saquon Barkley excited, Kayvon Thibodeau smiling again. I was excited to see them happy. They deserve to smile too. It was good to see us bringing cheer to somebody, because they damn sure ain't bringing cheer to our hearts. They damn sure ain't bringing a smile to our face. It's good to see them bringing a smile to somebody's damn face. Because it damn sure ain't ours. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Tommy! Come here! This effing kid over here, Tommy! Hell of a game! Hey, come here, Tommy. Come here. Remember this. We got two things. Two things. Our word and our balls. And we ain't busting them for nobody. Hey, another round for the kid, Tommy! We so trash, man. We let Danny DeVito play like Tommy DeVito today. We should be ashamed of ourselves. I can't even begin to tell you how disappointed I am in just the overall season, not just this game, because this is a microcosm of what this season has been. The Bears game, the Bills game, the first Giants game, the second Giants game. This is what the season has been. A bunch of these types of performances. We've only played in 11 games. Almost half of them have looked exactly like this. Ass whoopings. I don't think we were blown out the entire Rivera regime the first 3 years. I can't remember a game other than the Dallas game when we were COVID strucken and we were just decimated and we were fighting each other on the sidelines and we lost 56-14. We didn't have any players. The season was over. That's the only one, but I can't think of too many times where we just got our asses whooped. We've gotten our asses whooped 4 times this year. Well, three. Again, I don't know what else to tell you guys. I wish I had an answer for you. I wish I had more for you in the way of what should be done. I just know I would like to see change right now. As a fan, we are the worst home team in the league. Let that sink in. We won 1 game this season at home, week 1 against Arizona. The only time when the home crowd was actually rooting for us. Bills came in, took over our stadium. Eagles came in, took over our stadium. Bears fans came in, took over our stadium. Giants fans came in, took over the stadium. You want to know how they keep selling the bitch out? Because the other fans keep coming in and taking over the stadium. Stop posting that we got another sellout. As fans, we don't want to hear that shit because we know our fans ain't there. We got to be the worst team at home this season in the league. We got to. I want to see what the point differential is at home for us. We've been abysmal at home. Our worst performances have come at home. Just make the rest of the games we play this season on the road. Just make all the and I can't stress to you the importance of this even odd week thing, right? The even weeks, we play ball. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if we went to Dallas next week and pushed those boys, push them to the limit. I wouldn't be shocked if we pushed them to the limit. This is an even week. The odd weeks have been just abysmal, brutal. I mean, my God, they've been bad. Week 3 against the Bills. Week 5 against the Bears. Week 7 against the Giants. Week 11 against the Giants. Just awful. You got a 40-20 loss. You got a 37-3 loss. And now you got a 31-12 loss. Or 31-18 loss. Our worst games of the season have been at home. This is the most fitting end to the Rivera era. I really want them fired tonight. I want Mike Florio during the halftime show of tonight's Sunday night game to say, breaking news, this just in, the Washington Commanders have fired head coach Ron Rivera, after a very disappointing season this year at 4-7, and then give me his overall record, which is a losing one, and then tell me that I guess it's got to be EB or Jack Del Rio. It has to be one of them. I don't want either one of them to be the head coach, the interim. We don't even have a guy. That's the problem. We don't even have a guy that you can promote and say, hey, I can get behind this dude. We don't even have a guy. That's the truth of the matter. We don't even have a guy. After what I saw from EB today, I'm at a loss. The offense doesn't make any sense. We're running it down their throats. We didn't get any play action fake off of that to take a shot. None. Nothing to stretch the field vertically. Everything was nickel and dime. Everything was, 5 yards here, 7 yards here. Against a bad Giants team that wants to give it up. And no payoff for all the running that you're doing. Just more runs, and then you mess up by running out of the gun. Like, EB is trash as a play caller. I tried. I really tried, and I even said I was being harsh. I even went against my better judgment and walked back my initial criticism of this dude don't get it. Because I felt like I was being harsh. I wasn't being harsh. I knew what I saw. I knew what I was watching. I knew what I was being fed. I knew why I was vomiting, why I was over the toilet, regurgitating bad football. I knew what I saw and why I felt the way I felt. But yet, I still allowed myself to want to believe. That shit is over with. Get everybody out of here, man. Clean house. Bring me my quarterback. Bring me my receivers. I need a whole new offensive line. For those of you who want Brock Bowers and all of this shit, that's cute. If we're in a position to get, and right now, I'm going to be honest, we might not win but 1 or 2 more games. 2 is a stretch. We might not win but 1 more game. This could bottom out with Rivera. If he remains here, this shit is going to bottom out. We might not win another game if he stays. If he leaves, you get that 1-game boost. This is why I would fire him. Even though it's a quick turnaround, I'd fire him because you get that immediate jolt, that shock to the senses, that jolt that you usually get, and you could go upset Dallas on Thanksgiving if you fire him right now. It's a tough sell because it's a quick turnaround, but I would do it. You got nothing to lose here. You got nothing to lose. I think we're going to be in a position to get an offensive lineman. I don't think we're going to have to do anything crazy. We feel like a top 10 pick team right now. Packers won today. A lot of teams, Broncos keep winning. A lot of teams that we just assumed weren't going to win very many more games, They're winning games now. So when I look around, I'm like, hey, I expect the Packers to pass us. I expect the Broncos to pass us. I expect the entire NFC South to pass us. Saints, Bucks, Falcons, all of these boys, except for the Panthers, right? They're not going to win another game. We've made that abundantly clear. They're going to be the number one pick, which means the Bears are going to have the number one pick. What they want to do with it, I don't know. We'll see. But it's kind of feeling like we're going to be like the 7th or 8th overall pick right now. That's the vibe I'm getting. And if you're at 7 or 8, you're in a position to draft an offensive tackle. You're in a position to upgrade the tackle position. And then I might double down with that 33rd pick. If there's a guard there that I love, I might double down on the offensive line right away. Because to me, Sam Howell is priority number one. If you're going to have a chance to win, you think you have your quarterback, then you need to protect him. And if you're sitting there and the Bears end up with the 35th pick overall, 36th, 37th, and there's a guard there that you like, I might double down on offensive line first 2 picks. That may be the move. Again, I got to see what's out there in free agency. There may be a guard that I can go out there and sign for good money and not have to double down on the offensive line right away. But I'm definitely taking a tackle. If I'm the 7th or the 8th overall pick, without question, I probably won't get my hands on the best tackle in the draft because you'll probably have to be top 5 for that. But the next guy that's available and he looks the part, sign me up. Make him a commander, okay? Or a football team member or whatever the hell will be called by then. Make it happen. If you don't do something in free agency, got a lot of money, you don't do something in free agency, I might double down. That's just how I'm feeling right now about this offensive line. Another poor performance by the line today. Again, I got to watch, but I feel like it's Chris Paul. Larson, look, this is why I need Ricky Stromberg to come back and show me, are you a center or not that can play in this league, bro? Larson is cool, but we spent the 3rd round pick on Ricky Stromberg. I really need to know. You just got to show me something. Make me not spend a 4th round pick on a center next year. Just force me. And I think he can do it. I watched him in the SEC. I think he can do it. I wish he didn't get hurt. I just need to see it with my own 2 eyes. I don't know if I feel like we need to spend a pick on a center too. But Cosme, I personally would bring back Cornelius Lucas and start him at right tackle. That's how I would move with it, and maybe even entertain moving Wiley to guard. You know, like maybe that's an option that you could explore. But Wiley can't be at tackle. Neither can Charles Leno Jr. Right? Like I got to do something. And while Wiley hasn't been terrible of late, he's still a liability. Still a liability. Leno cannot block Kayvon Thibodeau. For whatever, I can't explain it. I don't know what this man has done to him, what kind of a spell he's cast on him, but that man shits himself every time he sees Kayvon Thibodeau. Cost us a timeout at the end that we couldn't afford to use on a false start just because he was worried about getting beat. That's when I knew the game was over. When you burned that last, that was the one you needed to have in your back pocket because it allowed you to use all portions of the field. Wow, what a bad one. What an ugly performance that was. Let's get to the comment section. I've talked enough. I want to hear from y'all. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ethan writes, the rage is almost unbearable. I am absolutely sick of this shit. We got out coached today. Fire everyone. New owner can't save us. Poverty franchise. I won't go that far. That's a knee-jerk reaction to be an ass and getting your ass kicked by another ass football team. And really another ass organization. The Giants suck. And I'm actually glad that Daboll, because I was getting worried. I don't think they would have fired Daboll if this thing continued to go off the rails. I think he was safe to come back next year. I just want to make sure, because he's not a good coach either. He's not very good. So I just wanted to make sure he didn't go anywhere either, because his record against the NFC East is indicative of what he is as a coach. He's 0-6 against everybody else, but he continues to beat us. So similar to what we used to do with Dave Gettleman, remember, we will always protect Dave Gettleman at all costs. Make sure that Dave Gettleman remains in New York. We're doing the same thing with Brian Daboll. Make sure he's around, because I think he might be an ass coach too, because I haven't been impressed with what I've seen from him as a coach this year either. So, again, we're doing a lot of things to make sure that the Giants stay mediocre. Best we can, all right? I don't know if we're helping ourselves any, but misery loves company. The biggest thing that we needed to do this season was we needed to find the quarterback. We did that. I'm confident that we've done that. Now you got to protect him, and now you got to go out and get the right guys to pick the groceries. And not the groceries aren't just players, coaches too, right? Got to get the right GM to pick the right coach, and get the right players, get the right staff in here, all right? And now let's go to work. Let's figure this thing out. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? I'm sorry, Lou. This ain't normally me, but this season is so unbelievably disappointing. Sick of getting embarrassed year after year. This has been a really disappointing season. I can't say that I'm shocked by how the season has turned out. I am shocked, however, by how we've lost and who we've lost to. This hasn't been Ron's MO in terms of getting blown out. Again, we've lost games to teams like the Giants that we shouldn't have lost to, but it didn't look like this in past years. We lose to the Giants, it'd be 20-19. It'd be 20-14. Sort of like the first game, right? This one, 6 turnovers, don't get any in return. Like this one, the Bears game 40-20. You just look awful and poorly coached and unprepared. You know, these types of performances are indicative of a team that just isn't any good. And it's top to bottom, you know, lack of depth, lack of, you know, A-plus players, blue chip players, lack of coaching, you know, all of that shows throughout the course of a season. And, you know, we are where we are, but I like what we have available to us. We can turn this around quickly, which is why I'm not tripping like some of you are. If we get the right guys in here. Now, if we get the wrong guys in here, we'll be just spinning our wheels in place. Because the biggest thing that will happen this offseason is who we hire as GM. Because that guy is going to be in control of everything in terms of the football operations. He's going to be in charge of picking the next head coach. He's going to be in charge of picking the players. He's going to be in charge of all this draft capital that we've accumulated. And whether he trades back, accumulates more picks, trades up to get a guy that he's got his eye on, or just stands pat and makes selections where he's at, whatever the case may be, he's going to hold the keys to all of this. And if it's done correctly, this shit could turn around instantly. We could win next year. Sam's getting invaluable experience. This was not a good game. This was not one that we'll store away and be proud of to pull out of the safe, you know, in 3 weeks and look back at. I don't think there was a single play in this game other than maybe a run or two that you can pull out and say, hey, man, put this on Sam's highlight tape for the season. And I don't think EB really ever gave him an opportunity to do that. Thought the play calling was shit today. Thought it was absolute garbage. Benjamin Slate, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, embarrassing, disgusting. We can't catch, can't hold the ball, can't block, can't tackle, blow it up. I mean, that sums it up. That's what it looked like today. I mean, I don't really need to add anything to that. Joshua Farish, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Lou, I've had enough of this crap. We always find new ways to lose. How is this possible? Coaching staff needs to be fired immediately, and that includes EB. Enough is enough. You can't fire. I mean, I advocated for for Tress Way being the coach the rest of the season. But you can't fire all of the coaches at the same time. That happens at the end of the season. You can only fire one guy right now, and you know it's going to be Ron if you're going to do that, right? look, you got to take your medicine. That's where we are right now. Before it can get better, we have to bottom out. This has to hit rock bottom. And that's where we are. It's the same thing that had to happen when Bruce Allen was here. In order for change to come, it had to hit rock bottom. For us to get Daniel Snyder, it literally had to hit rock bottom. He had to be under investigations. He had the threat of prison time and owing money and all of that stuff had to be in his face for him to say, all right, I'm getting out of here. That's where we are. We got to hit rock bottom. And, 4-13, 5-12 is rock bottom. So be it. Look, some of you wanted to strain for 9-8. For what? To be 19th or 20th in the draft? To not have a chance at an elite offensive line prospect? For what? At this point, you know what we are. We're not going to have the same group back. You're not building anything for next year. There's no continuity being gained. The only reason I'm here is because I'm outside for Sam. Because that's the only thing that's going to carry over to next year is him gaining more experience. It won't be in the same system. He'll be in a different offensive system next year, his third in as many years, which sucks, but it's a necessary evil. Because the one he's in right now ain't it. Whatever the hell that system is, by the way. Whatever the hell that is. Because today, we tried to feature the run and never actually play action. It's the same shit Scott Turner used to do. We would run the ball, but we would never play action off of it. Or there was no real viable play action off. So what are we running for then? We don't have any explosive backs. So what are you actually running for? We don't have a guy that can, we don't have a Breece Hall, somebody that touches it and can take it the distance on any given carry. So what are we running the football for? Just to keep the Giants off of Sam Howell? I'm at a loss. Like, who are we? What is our identity? What do we go in every game saying, here's what we're going to do? It's not like we are the Patriots when they had Tom Brady and they could morph into whoever they needed to be for that week. If we need to run it 45 times and only throw it 21, we can do that. If we need to throw it 52 times and only run it 7, we can. That's not who we've been. So what the hell was this about? I think EB was shook of Wink Martindale. I think Wink Martindale took his damn soul the last time they played against one another and coached against one another. I think he was shook. He called the game like he was scared today. Major enlightenment. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, good evening, Lou. What's up, man? If Ronald Rivera is head coaching his team on Turkey Day, I'm not watching, on the next season, I think he'll be here. I don't think they're going to do anything on a short week, quick turnaround, unfortunately. I think he's going to be here. And what I watched today, I don't see a team that's fighting for him anymore. I've always said I've never seen a team quit on Ron Rivera. And they fought to the bitter end. But the body language, the play on the field, the attention to detail, the focus, all said, hey, we quit, we done. To a man, I saw it. Now, they're not going to admit that, but you lose to a Giants team who hadn't scored 30 but once this season, and you give up 30, and you turn it over 6 times, that leads to 24 Giants points, and I'd say that's a pretty definitive answer as to where the players are mentally. I'm just telling you what I saw. And I'll tell you right now, I guess you won't be watching the game on Thanksgiving. Because I don't think they're going to fire him. That's my personal opinion. I want him fired, but I don't think it's going to happen. And again, fire him now versus firing him after week 18, what difference does it make? You're not hiring a new coach now anyway. The guy that's going to be in charge of finding the next head coach is the most important thing this offseason, not the head coach itself. The GM is the most important thing. So the difference between firing him right now, that's just to make you feel good. Like, that's to make the fans feel good. If you fire Ron Rivera right now, you still ain't coming to the damn game. What difference it make? That ain't going to make you leave your house to go support the team. So might as well just Leave it alone. Leave it be. And wait till the end of the season. Greg Giants 10, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, "Welp, I'm here. He said, you all are garbage and have to drag my team down with your sorry excuse of a team and franchise. F y'all." That's all we're here to do now, man, is to make sure that you don't get the satisfaction of bottoming out and ending up in a position to get what you need. You need a quarterback. You need Caleb Williams. You need a top-level passer. And you may ultimately still get a guy. There's a lot of quarterbacks. I don't know who's going to ultimately be good in this draft class. But I just know I don't want you in a position to draft one number 2 overall. I need you at 5 or 6. And if you get to 1, I want you giving up 2 1s, 2 2s. I want you giving up draft capital for the next 2 drafts to do it. I gotta hurt you, man. Because my shit is already wrecked. So I gotta hurt you. That's the only way I can hurt you. Beating you ain't gonna hurt you, it's gonna help you. I gotta hurt you. Remember, we family. But you stabbed me in the back last year when you kept me out of the playoffs. So I gotta get some get back. And this is the only way we can do it. You're welcome. Benjamin Slade, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, "Also, I hate shotgun handoffs. They never work. And I think every week I can't get annoyed this week. They outdo themselves. Every team runs gun runs. We're not the only team that does it. So I'm not going to complain about gun runs. We don't have to do them at the rate that we do them. That's number one. And we ran it under center today. I'm not complaining about the run. The run game was fine. The run game was actually really good today. And if he had shown this earlier in the season, I would have been fine with it. But there were games where we begged for this, where it would have actually been beneficial, when we were actually leading in games, where the run game would have been beneficial, i.e. the Eagles games, both of them, i.e. the Bills game. And for some reason, he refused to run it. Now, in a game that you are immediately trailing in, you're turning it over left and right against a bad team that you want to extend the game, not shrink and condense it. He wants to run the shit out of the football. And no play action off of it to take advantage. That's some Scott Turner shit. That's right out of the Scott Turner Dummies, Offensive Dummies Football 101 book. I'm going to run the football, have success, but not have any play action off of it to take advantage of the success that I'm having. That's right out of the Scott Turner's Football for Dummies Offensive 101 playbook. That's on the call sheet. Zoe Life, No Life. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, "Did you see Terry on the sideline? Terry is over." I told y'all. Terry checked out. I saw his demeanor, his behavior on the field. Terry over this shit. He ready for a new voice. I'm going to tell you, Terry looked like how I felt after week 7 when we lost to the Giants the first time. Remember how distraught I was? I was so, like, literally, I was in like a 48-hour funk. My wife was like, "Bro, what's wrong with you?" And it was because EB lied to me. You know how people who invest in the Ponzi schemes realize not only did I invest my life savings, my entire 401k, or, whatever, money that I had. Not only did I just realize I invested this into a Ponzi scheme, but I'm not getting my money back. I'm not getting a return on my investment. That's how I felt. Like, EB lied to me. I invested so much emotional energy into EB thinking he was the savior. And then week 7 was when I realized this is a goddamn Ponzi scheme. I've been tricked. I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. And I think Terry figured that shit out today. He looked like he just figured it out today. Like, this dude, EB, ain't shit. This offense ain't shit. We ain't shit. It looked like Terry figured it out today. I figured it out in week 7, so I was good. I think Terry figured it out today, though. Greg Giants 10. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, if we start a 3-year-old next year, can you beat us? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. How tall is the 3-year-old? Does the 3-year-old have wheels like Kyler Murray? Because if so, I don't know. It'd be a hell of a battle. It'd be a hell of a battle if he can run like Kyler Murray can. Because you know Kyler Murray run like a little toddler. If he can run like Kyler Murray, we would be in some trouble. I don't know if he can't see over the line. It might be tough on him. But we can't see where he is. And if he comes out of there with full speed, he might have a shot. And you might have a shot. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, I don't know where things go now. I do. Some of you are acting as if you're so surprised at what happened today and, oh my God, this came out. This isn't the Bears game. That's the one where you could go, whoa, what just happened? We just played Philadelphia, pushed them to the limit, and this is the response we get on a quick turnaround? We already seen this movie. We already knew this shit was over. We already knew that this thing had to be blown up. So what do you mean you don't know where we go from here? You find yourself a GM, he hires a coach, and you hope that GM figures out how to use the assets, the cap space, the draft capital, and you hope that coach fills out his cabinet and staff with good football coaches, right, that come in here, motivate, invigorate these players, bring in fresh blood that comes in here and gives this defense an edge that we lack, this offense some juice and some pop and some punch, and then we go from there. What do you mean you don't know where we go from here? This was already preordained after week 5. Why are you guys acting surprised? I'm actually surprised at how surprised you are. But in last week's postgame, you and the mob discarded my warning that we would get blown out by the Giants. I didn't discard anything. I just didn't think that we could sink to this depths of despair. I didn't think it was possible because the Giants were bad. I mean, we turned it over 6 times and we almost still won the game. I mean, the Giants are really bad. They tried to lose the game and we couldn't take it. It's the same thing the first game. It's no different. He said, I'd like a double O, but I won't hold on. You know you ain't getting shit. You're right. Don't hold your breath. Harris needs to start making moves. Again, what are they going to accomplish? I don't really know if that's going to accomplish anything, honestly. I'd love to agree with you, but I wish, again, all firing Ronald Rivera would do is appease the fan base. But that's not going to change anything. It's not going to put asses in seats. It's not going to boost morale. If you fire Ronald, you're in the same spot before you fire Ronald. You're still 4-7. You still suck ass, and you still have an offseason to look forward to for change to really start to take place. All you would be doing was appeasing people like you and me who want Ronald gone. Don't even want to see him on the sidelines anymore. That's all you would be doing at this point. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ethan writes, Giants punch the ball out. We don't. Coaching. I've told you guys, but some of that is coaching. Some of it ain't. Some of that is just a mentality. I know they practice takeaways in practice. They got drills where they probably practice punching the ball out. Some teams really emphasize it by making you put on boxing gloves and stuff like that. We don't do that stuff, right? Our coaches aren't that innovative, right, to force the issue. But that's a mindset. Punching the ball out, taking it from somebody, that requires having dogs. We don't have dogs. And I've been talking about that for 2 years now, though. I've been talking about that. I said, we got nice guys. We got Boy Scouts. Guys like Casey Toohill who wants to gritty. Yeah. We got nice guys. Hey, how about that? We got David. David he's not a dog, but he plays hard. I can't even be mad at David. David will come up and hit you in your face. We don't have enough of those dudes on the team. But we got a lot of nice guys. Yeah. This is the only thing I'll say about Charles Leno. He fights for the quarterback. It don't matter if it's Heineke, Kyle Allen, it don't matter who the hell is under center. You F with a quarterback or you do something to somebody that he deems to be outside of the line, you color on outside the lines, he's going to do something about it. I like that shit. Because we got a lot of dudes that let shit slide. Again, we don't have dogs. We don't have dogs. Barry and Von Monkey, been a member for a month. Right? I think 17 going through mentals. Mine ain't right. He's just sick of losing. He's sick of the same shit every week like we are as fans. That shit wears on you mentally. Like, think about it in this context, because I don't think a lot of y'all don't treat football players like human beings. Y'all treat them like robots. Think of it from this perspective. You go to your job every day. They preach to you this camaraderie, team chemistry, building, this, that, and the third. And you're doing the best you can at your job, but you see other dudes effing up all the time. They're not disciplined. And the shit is running off the rails. It's putting a lot of stress on you because now you got to try to do more, right? And then all of a sudden you get a new boss that comes in and he's talking this good shit, man. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. And we're going to change this and we're going to do that. And then you buy in, right? You like, I'm all in. This shit sounds good. This is what I signed up for. And then you come into work and the shit gets worse. And you thought it couldn't get any worse than it was last year, but you like, man, this shit is worse. And I signed a contract. I have no way out. I got to ride this thing out. I'm not saying Terry wants out, but nobody wants to be a part of that shit. Yeah, that shit wears on you mentally. I got to come to work tomorrow and deal with the same shit. And then the day after that, and the day after that. Remember, these dudes don't get off days like everybody else. They don't get the weekends off to recharge the battery. They play a game on Sunday. If you lose, you back and you banged up, you come in, you get treatment on Monday, you watch some film, all of that shit, Tuesday, and you back at it again. So, yeah, this shit wears on you mentally. You damn right it does. Danny Darklow, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Danny writes, imagine how good the Giants or Commanders would look with Williams or May. Whoops. I'm good. I don't need neither one of those bastards. I'm good right where I'm at with Sam Howell. Imagine how good Sam Howell would look with an offensive line and an offensive coordinator that was competent at his job. That's what I'm more focused on. You can have Caleb Williams or Drake May if you want them, Giants fans. Knock yourself out. Drake May looked awful yesterday. Awful against Clemson. I'm good. Caleb Williams, prima donna. You can have him. I'm good. Give me the guy that's going to stand up there, good or bad, win or lose, he's going to face the media. Don't give me the dude that's going to take the bitch way out. I'm good. You can have him. I'll take my guy. 10 times out of 10. Keith, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, thank you for being, who writes, 6 turnovers? I don't know who you're going to beat doing that, man. And 4 of them were fumbles. That's nasty work. That's real nasty. Were 4 of them fumbles? 3 of them weren't picks? You sure? Sam didn't throw 3 picks, including the pick 6? You sure? Maybe they were 4 fumbles and he only threw 2 picks. I feel like he threw 3 picks, man. Everybody gets blamed, coaching staff included. I say fire Ron because what does he do anyway? Yeah, but what does that do anyway? I contend it gives you an initial jolt that may carry over onto Thursday. That's what I say. But again, Greg Giants 10. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, what the actual hell is wrong with your team? Everything. Does that sum it up for you? The same thing I could ask you with your franchise. What the hell is wrong with your team? You would tell me everything. Okay, same thing. It's like looking in the mirror. Same thing. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes. Who was happy about getting a field goal? I wasn't. When you're moving the ball effectively but turn the ball over 5 times, that is not play calling. Everyone is trash today. Let's not focus on one entity here. I'm not going to allow the play calling to be swept under the rug because we were moving the football. That's not what I'm going to do, because there's a way in which you have to take advantage of the way you're moving the football. You literally ate up most of the second half running the football, but you have nothing to show for it because you didn't use the play action to your advantage. You didn't take advantage of the fact that you were shoveling run plays down the throats of the Giants and they couldn't stop it. At some point, there should be heavy play action fake and a big opening down the field because of what you're doing. You know what this reminded me of? I don't know why I didn't think of this before. This felt like the Cowboys game from last year. First game against Dallas when they had Cooper Rush at quarterback. And we were just killing them on the ground in the first half. Killing them on the ground. J.D. McKissick was averaging 5 a pop. Antonio Gibson was averaging, I want to say 6. And what's my man name? Oh man, Jonathan Williams was averaging like 9 in the first half. We were killing them on the ground. And we had, and I remember the biggest takeaway from that game being, bro, where's the play action off of this? We got all of this shit going on the ground. They cannot stop us. And we got no explosives through the air. And we haven't even attempted a shot down the field because we were scared shitless the week before because of the Eagles game. And we never took a shot down the field. And that's what it felt like today. We just running it, just to run it, just to run it, just to run it, just to run it, 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 short pass, run it, short pass, screen, run it, run it, run it, run it. What you doing? Because eventually they're going to stop the run. And eventually you're going to be a second down and whatever. Eventually you're going to be a third down and whatever. And then what happens? At some point, you got to get a chunk play. And we didn't get any chunk plays because we weren't trying them. So I don't want to hear about good play calling. I want to hear about how are we going to capitalize off of gutting them on the ground. That's what I want to hear about. And it ain't all on one entity. Everybody gets blame here. There's enough of it to go around. Zoe Life, No Life. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, EB is a walking oxymoron. He has contradicted everything he said from his grand presser. Ron losing the 2019 Redskins is the very reflection of him. Ron losing to the 2019 Redskins. Yeah, it's pretty much, it's almost like it came full circle, right? Doesn't that feel like it? And he should get fired just like he did after losing to us when he was in Carolina and we were ass-tastic that year. It's full circle. It would be fitting if he got fired. I like that Zoe Life, No Life. I like that comparison. Happy Thanksgiving, right? Isn't that what old Snyder said? Happy Thanksgiving. And it's right around Thanksgiving. Do it. Do it. You know, honestly, I think the quick turnaround is going to stop it. But if we get embarrassed, it's 10 days between the next game. I think that's when they do it. I don't think they have to wait till the bye week. You have a pseudo bye after Thanksgiving. I think that's when they make change. You lose to the Cowboys 47-20, and I could see a situation here where he's done then. I don't think he's going to get fired tonight. It just doesn't make sense with a quick turnaround. But that's a really good point, man. Full circle. Ron is who everybody else outside of our fan base thought he was. We thought he was this really good coach that was going to come in here, he went to a Super Bowl, and everybody kept telling us, hey, he trashed for real. It was just Cam Newton. He sucks. They were right. We were wrong. I hate it when that happens. I hate it when that happens. Godson. Been a member for 9 months. Who writes, wow, pathetic. I don't want to see Ron. I'm not even going to watch his press conference today. I'm going to watch Sam's, and that's it. See what the players in the locker room have to say. I don't even want to hear from Ron. I'm done with him. I don't even want to hear what he got to say tomorrow. Like, I'm over him at this point. If he's still here, his words mean nothing to me. I'm going to thank him for his service when he's finally shown the door. And I'm ready to move on. I'm over Ronald, excuse me. I'm over Ronald. JB Johnson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. JB writes, if they don't fire Ron tomorrow, they're spitting in the fans' faces and starting off worse than Snyder. Optics don't matter anymore. Fire them or else. I don't think that's going to happen, JB. And again, I just told you it makes a lot more sense to fire him after the Dallas game, no matter what the outcome is of that. We could lose to Dallas by a walk-off field goal. He still should be fired the next day. And I think ultimately that's what is more likely to happen than him fired. Again, if this weren't a quick turnaround, he might be fired today, you know. But because you play on Thursday, change is going to be your enemy. If you really want these players to go out and be embarrassed, fire Ron. You can fire Ron. I mean, they might go out and get embarrassed anyway. And to me, I mean, how much truly changes if you're just promoting somebody that's already in the building? You know, not a ton is going to change. You don't have time to in 3 days, essentially, before you have to travel to Dallas to play the game. You don't have time to change a lot. So you prepare for Dallas best way you can. You see what happens, and then after that game's over, I think changes are made then. That to me seems the most logical. You don't have to wait till the bye week. You got 10 days. You can make the change after Thanksgiving. And then it'll truly be Happy Thanksgiving all over again. Antoine Hoskins, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Antoine writes, we can't get mad at the players when they're not getting the ball. I was high on EB, but he can go too. Way too inconsistent. I don't want a coordinator who doesn't value good football players. I told you, he values his scheme, and this is the first red flag for me. This shit jumped out to me. Like not running the football, that shit irks me, but I can get past that. If that's who you are and you're good at what you do, I can get past that shit. What I can't get past is your unwillingness to go out of your way to make sure your best players touch the football. That's the shit that I just can't get with. Because is it going to kill you to throw Jahan a screen? You threw Terry one at the very beginning of the game. It's going to kill you to throw Jahan one and get him involved? Again, is Jahan just out here for cardiovascular purposes? Is he out here just to get into great shape? I swear, if I see the snap counts and he played 96% of the snaps again but only got 3 targets, I'm going to vomit. That's the shit I can't stand. Because now he's got people thinking, hey, Jahan trash. And he's not. He just got a coordinator that don't value players. Why do you think Terry looking sad? Terry will be lucky to get to 1,000 yards this season. That's never been in question his entire career, including his rookie season, where he played with straight trash at quarterback. He would have got to 1,000 if he didn't have a concussion and missed the final 2 games of the season. That shit is in real jeopardy this year. He thought he was going to eat. We all thought he was going to eat. We all thought Jahan was going to break out. Them dudes ain't even getting the ball. He's got to go. Because now you messing with my best players. Mentals. I can't have that shit. You got to carry your ass. You part of the problem, not the solution. Fat American. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, my guy, Fat American Rights. This defense allowed the Giants offense to do what no other defense has allowed them to do. Score first quarter touchdown. EB choked in goal play call. Ron dumb on sidelines. I don't care about sacks. We lost. Facts. All of that is facts. The red zone offense started out hot this season. It's gone south. That's cooled off considerably now. Ronald, I don't expect anything but, mass confusion and dumbfoundedness on the sidelines with Ronald. And like you said, this defense allowed the Giants to, hey, Tommy! Hey, let's hear it for Tommy! This epic kid over here, Tommy. I can't, man. I can't. Rocky D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB rights. Sam doesn't get a pass from this game. He doesn't. I can't. I mean, the second pick he threw was like a punt. He was playing hero ball there. And at that point, he realized, I think at that point, the offensive play caller not going to help me. The players around me not helping me. The defense not going to make a play to put us in a position to get a freebie. I got to do something. He put on that North Carolina cape right there. And that's the shit I don't want to see from him. Because that's the shit that got him drafted in the 5th round, his final year. He had to put on the Superman cape when he was at UNC. I'm trying to get him out of that. And when you put on the Superman cape, but you ain't in a position that people ain't going to be able to see that you, Clark Kent, turn it into Superman, that's when problems ensue. Like, there were two, like, he lucky he didn't hurt himself right there. That goes beyond the pick. You could have hit your hand on a helmet. You could have had somebody tear your damn bicep right there, tear your pec muscle. Like, that's not smart. But that's hero ball. When ain't nobody else making a play, somebody got to step up and make a play. That's the shit that happens when ain't nobody making a play. And that shit wasn't cool. You know, he tried to throw it away. He just didn't get enough on it on that last pick. But that's poor play calling by EB. But again, I want to kill EB in that situation. But when you lose your last time out, that slant that might have been something that you could have thrown right there. Like, you got 29 seconds now. You're not really in a position to throw a slant, get 20 yards, and clock it. Because now you really don't have, you know, realistic shots at the end zone. So it's tough. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, we can't have, like, if they're going to come, they came with pressure on that play. If they're going to come, somebody got to have one-on-one. 4 verts. Somebody got to have one-on-one. Pick one and deliver the football. But again, that ain't EB offense. He says he was responsible for 2 turnovers. Sam, Logan, Pringle, CR, Ross lost us. Defense no better. But they gave you 9 sacks. Offense had opportunities. I told you I want to hear shit about the defense. I want to hear about the 9 sacks. 6 of them shits came because Tommy DeVito morphed into Danny DeVito. Like, you can't have a wide receiver screen called and you hold on to the ball. At that point, throw it over his head or throw it at his feet. He took a sack in that situation. Like, that ain't. He had Saquon Barkley open for a touchdown on a wheel route and he just held on to the bitch. That's his primary read on the play, and he didn't throw it. Like, don't talk to me like the defense was out here eating. They don't get 9 sacks against a regular team. They got 9 sacks because they played against the Giants and Tommy DeVito. The defense was awful like they are every week. Yeah, okay, so we turned it over. Does that mean you got to give up a touchdown? No. They could have forced the Giants to kick field goals. There was a turnover there where they pushed them out of field goal range and made them punt. Do that shit then. Don't give up touchdowns. All of these dudes are Sam, Logan, Pringle, Chris Rodriguez, all their asses on the hook. All of them stunk it up. Everybody stunk it up. Sam included. I got no excuses for Sam in this game. He wasn't good. The first pick, Diami can't fall on the ground. But why are 2 receivers in the same spot? I've never seen an offense with this many, where I say this to myself so many times. Why are 2 guys in the same vicinity? And that had nothing to do with the pick. I'm just saying, why? Why is the spacing always off in EB's offense? Why? It's been that way all season long. Diami can't fall down. Because the worst case scenario, Sam is expecting you to go up there and fight for that football, not trip over your feet and fall down. It's a bad game for everybody, and Sam included. And I'm not making any excuses for him in this game. He didn't play well. He wasn't given, I think, the best game plan to go out and execute, but he didn't play well. Period. Shadow Striker 789. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, offense had 6 turnovers and Giants came from our turnovers. 24 points came from our turnovers. And you blame the defense? Yeah, I'm blaming everybody. I'm not singling out the defense. Shadow Striker. Put your ears on. Put your listening ears on. Okay? Some of y'all are acting like kindergartners. Do I have to talk to you like kindergartners today? Do I have to talk to you? Put your listening ears on. Yes, the defense shares blame. You think it's okay to give up 3 touchdown passes to Tommy DeVito? You think that's okay, Shadow Striker? Seriously. No, seriously, look at me. I'm being serious right now. You think that's okay? To a team that hasn't even been competitive since they played us last, other than the Jets, who can't score either. Anybody with a half-decent team has beat the brakes off the Giants. And Tommy DeVito has looked awful. He at times didn't even look like an NFL quarterback. And you want me to seriously say that the defense played well today? Is that what you're asking me to do? Because I've seen teams that actually play good defense, despite their offense trying to give it away. I've seen them make plays to stop the other team from scoring points. Only one of the turnovers resulted directly in a touchdown. That was the pick 6 at the end. None of the other turnovers had to result in touchdowns. If the Giants just kick field goals today, we win. So, yes, the defense gets blamed too, and a lot of it. I must have missed something. You talk about other teams' defense holding the Giants to 10, but did other teams have 6 turnovers? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We gave them a first quarter touchdown. First quarter touchdown. Nobody else has done that against the Giants. You sacking them 5 times in the first quarter. How they still end up with a touchdown? Don't tell me, yeah, we turned it over twice in the first quarter. Okay, sack him 7 times then. You know how many times they converted 3rd and 11, 3rd and 13 in this game? That ain't got shit to do with the offense. Them being on the field, yeah, that has something to do with the offense. But you have the power to get off the field. I don't understand how some of y'all don't understand that. Like, yeah, 6 turnovers suck. But you still have the power to control what the Giants do because those weren't touchdowns. A lot of these turnovers ended up happening in Giants territory, in our own territory, rather, right? So, in Giants territory. So they still had to go the length of the field. In a lot of instances, the Pringle one didn't. I think the rest of them probably did. Stop them. Okay, so they started at the Washington 33. Make them kick a field goal. That's allowed. Fat American. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, did we change the culture? Do we have our QB? The last 3 years have really been hard. You don't even know. Ron. Shut the F up. 4 years for this. I do think that I won't say the culture has changed. I'll say that there's hope. And I know you can't see it right now, but there's light at the end of the tunnel for the first time in a long time. And I tried to make sure that you guys were aware of that before the season. But I told you, a lot of y'all don't have a stomach for this. Y'all say y'all do, but y'all don't. Culture change, winning is what changes the culture. Okay? He gave us a face that didn't look like Daniel Snyder or Bruce Allen. He gave us somebody that we could push out in front of the cameras and say, hey, we're not a bad organization. We're not run by bad guys. We got a good guy here. His name's Ronald Rivera. You probably met him before. He gave us that, and I do think we have our quarterback. So I do believe that to be the case. But again, we'll see. We'll see where all of this. It's good. I know that the organization, the owners, the people that are in charge that make. I know they believe in Sam. That's all I care about. I could care less if fans of this team don't believe in Sam. The people that make the decisions believe in Sam. That's all I need to know. And I know that they do So I know they're going to move this thing in the right direction, the right way, by building around 14. Because that's what needs to be done. JB Johnson. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Babe. 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 Can you get my water on top of the fridge, please? Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, you have to quite literally clear the roster of everyone except Howell and Terry, or they will continue to make boneheaded curse types of mistakes. You can't do that. And you don't have to do that. I think there are some good football players. Again, not everybody's going to be blue chippers, right? I mean, I don't even know if Sam's a blue chipper at this point. He's proven to be a red at this point. I think he's got the potential to be a blue chipper, right? We won't find that out until we get a competent play caller and an actual offensive line in front of them. We'll never know. So I'm hoping that takes place this offseason, right? But, I mean, Jahan Dotson's a damn good football player. Brian Robinson's a damn good football player. Sam Cosmi's a damn good football player. There are football players on this team that you can take along with you and say, hey, these dudes are a part of the solution. Not everybody stinks, okay? I just think they've got to pick the right players to move forward with. And when I say this roster is going to turn over, 50% of the guys won't be here, but there'll still be 50% of them that are here. They just got to make sure it's the right 50%. Like, for starters, Cornelius Lucas should be here next year. I don't know if the next GM comes in and recognizes that because he hasn't played enough. I don't know if he'll value him the way that this organization, this staff didn't, because I would have been starting him already. If you were going to go out and sign Andrew Wiley, you could have just started Cornelius Lucas. What was the point of giving this man a 3-year, $21 million contract? Could have just gave that contract to Cornelius Lucas and started him at right tackle. What are we doing? Al Butts, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Al writes, Lou, thank you for finally coming around today. Fire, fire, fire. I don't care if we play on Thursday or not. Please, please, please let Schefter tell the world tonight that Ron and Jack are fired. He's not going to do that. Don't set yourself up for disappointment. One thing that I've heard from a lot of people, and this is what I've done differently. See, this is what happens when you don't adhere to the message that's being delivered. You fall into the trap, right? The league spoke on Eric Bieniemy and told you, hey, this ain't no head coach. We ignored that. We ran through the stop signs and the red lights. The Panthers fans said, hey, Ron's a good dude, but ... And everybody else said, hey, he's mediocre as hell. He's mid. And we ran through a bunch of stop signs and a bunch of red lights, and we got what we deserved, right? I'm not doing that with Josh Harris this time. All right. Philadelphia 76ers fans are trying to tell me he's trash. I don't listen to them, right? Because they're just mad they haven't won anything, right? But he's put them – my dad is a 76ers fan. I watch 76ers basketball. I know he's put them in a position to win. They just haven't gotten it done. Whether it's Ben Simmons refusing to dunk the basketball, being 4 feet away from the hoop, or James Harden just being ass in the playoffs last year. They've lost because of players not getting it done on the court. But he's put them in a position to win. He did it with the New Jersey Devils as well. So what I've been told by people is that he's going to do it the right way. He's not going to take any shortcuts. He's not going to do anything off the cuff. He's not going to have a knee-jerk reaction. He's going to do this thing the right way. So if that's the case, don't expect him to have a knee-jerk reaction to what just happened today, knowing that the best thing for the team is to keep Ronald here for at least one more game. Doesn't make sense when you got a quick turnaround on Thursday to fire your coach. Send everybody in disarray and have a disorganized bunch going out to play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. It may be a disjointed and a terrible product regardless, but at least you weren't a part of that. You didn't have a hand in that. I think he'll be fired after the Cowboys game, personally. That's my guess. Font JD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Font JD, thank you for being a member of the MOBB writes. Leno got work today. He always struggles with Kayvon Thibodeau for whatever reason. Thibodeau looks basic as hell against just about everybody else's offensive line, plays against Leno, and he looks like a world beater every time. Reminds me of how lucky we were from 2000 to 2019 with Chris Samuels and T. Green at left tackle. We were spoiled. I don't think we realized how spoiled we were at tackle with Williams and Samuels. There was one little brief period in there when Samuels retired, I think after the 09 season. I think we drafted Trent Williams I think we might have drafted him in 2010, as a matter of fact. So I don't think we realized how good we had it. Because you get spoiled after a while. I mean, there was a time when we had Samuels and Jansen, right? And I watched the Ravens and I see Morgan Moses and I'm thinking, and we got rid of him for what now? Somebody remind me why we got rid of Morgan Moses. He don't miss games. Yeah, he jumped false start, but they don't call the shit. It's no different than Lane Johnson. They don't call the shit. And he don't miss games. Is he the best left tackle? No, but he gets the job done better than the shit we putting on the field. And I'm watching him play for the Ravens and I'm like, why did we get rid of him again? Oh, that's right. Ron didn't think he fit into the culture. Because he was one of the players questioning Ron when he first got here, like, hey, you ain't shit. Now everybody else figuring that shit out. 3 years later. Oh, shit. Morgan knew that shit off the bat. That Ron won't shit. Antoine Hoskins, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, everyone texts Magic, fire everyone. I mean, again, Magic don't run nothing. He's a part of the group, but he's not the final decision maker, right? Magic might want to fire everybody today. And Josh Harris might be like, nah. And that's what it's going to be, right? Spence Calise, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Spence, thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, what did Ron really do? We are still a joke. You know, I know that it's easy to make fun of Ron, make fun of his time here. It was tough. It was tough on Ron. And it was tough on the organization. You go through a name change. Ron went through cancer. You got Daniel Snyder as your owner, allegations and investigations, you know, every other week it seemed like. It was tough. Taking this job was not an easy thing to do. I actually said Ron wasn't smart for taking this job. I wouldn't have taken it. He had options when he got fired from Carolina. He could have been the Giants coach right now. Dave Gettleman thinks very fondly of Ron Rivera. And he said one of the mistakes he said was I wasn't aggressive enough in going after Ron Rivera. He could have been a Giants coach. I would have taken the Giants job over this job. He got too excited because he saw Montez Sweat, he saw Deron Payne, he saw Jonathan Allen, and then he saw this number 2 overall pick. He knew he was getting Chase Young, and he thought, I'm going to be able to stop teams, even though I don't know what I have at quarterback or on offense for that matter. I'm going to be able to stop teams defensively because I can get after the quarterback. And that never really came to fruition under Ronald Rivera and company. So, what did he actually do? He helped us survive Daniel Snyder. That's what he did. If you can't give him credit for nothing else, at least give him credit for that. That's not an easy task, okay? He helped us survive Daniel Snyder. He helped us get through a name change. If nothing else, just acknowledge that, if nothing else. Major Enlightenment, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, I felt so freaking frustrated for Terry on that sideline. Scrap all of it and start over. I told you Terry looked so disinterested. And to me, the play in the end zone on the final drive where he didn't even fight for the football, he could have got a PI there. That defender wasn't looking for the ball. He just conceded an incompletion. Almost as if he was like, we don't deserve to win this game. And I don't want to make the play that helps these bums stay here. Let them go. Fat American. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Fat American writes, bro really said T Green at left tackle. I knew what he meant. I wasn't going to kill him. I knew what he meant. Strider, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Strider writes, is Sam still the guy? Yeah, that ain't changed. Some of y'all are so fickle. That's why I said I don't really pay attention to what a lot of y'all have to say when it comes to the matters of the quarterback position. Because some of y'all outside, y'all riding, and then some of y'all, as soon as the first side of trouble goes, you ducking inside. Remind me to never take y'all nowhere with me. Because I know y'all ain't got my back. Because at the first side of trouble, I look around and you ducking behind some shit, and I thought I had reinforcements behind me. Nah, y'all the same ones that as soon as it got a little chilly outside, hey man, peace, Louie Tee, I'm going inside. Stay inside, okay? Don't come outside. Stay inside. Yeah, Sam's still the guy. I'm not wavering one bit. I told y'all after the 3-touchdown game against Philadelphia, I said there's another stinker coming. He's not done yet. He's still young. He doesn't have a full season of experience under his belt yet. Not to mention an offensive line that, again, it's better. It's not great. It's not fixed by any stretch of the imagination. And a play caller that's not doing him any favors either. Okay? So there's still a lot fundamentally wrong around him, but he's making the best of his situation. You saw the playmaking ability even today, even when shit wasn't going well. Him running, scored the touchdown. Him running, picking up 23 yards down the sidelines. Like, he's still the guy, okay? But he did not play well today at all. It was not a good game for him. But this is a part of the growing pains that come with a young quarterback. CJ Stroud threw 3 picks today. You gonna shit on him? You gonna run away from him? Shit happens. The difference is his defense didn't give up 24 points off of turnovers. That's the difference. His defense is actually well coached and they're good. So they win the game anyway. That's the difference. You can turn the ball over and still win in this league. It is allowed. 6 turnovers. You're not beating anybody with 6 turnovers. Let's just be clear about that. You're not beating any. We shouldn't have even been in the game. That's a testament to how bad the Giants are. But we're also playing one of the worst teams in the league. It's not like we're playing the Dolphins and we turned it over 6 times. We're playing the Giants. You weren't required to then give up points after these turnovers. Maybe a field goal. You weren't required to give up touchdowns, though. Coach Kev, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, we have a very real chance of finishing the season with 4 wins. That is in play. I did not think after we beat the Patriots, really after we beat the Falcons, there was no way I thought this was any less than 6 wins right here with this team. Any less than 6. And we very well could finish the season with. So the one thing that never entered my mind was the team would quit. I saw a team that quit today in certain aspects. Guys that mentally checked out. I had never seen that with Rivera. So 4 wins is definitely on the table right now, without question, Coach Kev. Ron won't get fired until after Thursday. Remember when I detailed the worst case scenario, Lou, is looking closer to reality. Yeah. I remember you laying that out, and I remember thinking, you guys are crazy. There's no way this team wins anything less than 6 games. You guys are, because this is the same shit you did in 2020. Oh my God, we're the worst team in football. Fire everybody. We're not going to win any more than 3 games. And I understood it coming off of 2019 in a 3-win campaign. But I kept telling y'all, there's no way with this division being what it is, in 2020, that is, that we're only going to win 3 games. You guys stop. We're not going to have a top 5 pick. Like, a lot of you kept saying that. We're going to, after we lost to the Giants the second time, we're going to have a top 5 pick. No, we're not. And, we ended up winning 7 games. This time, legitimately, you could win 4 games. Like, we could not win another game this season. That's real. That definitely exists right now. Gerson is still NHO. Hell yeah, you already know it's still NHO. I got the hat on for a reason. In times like this, I'll make sure I wear the hat. Just so y'all know. Ain't shit changed.
New how order.
Ain't shit changed. Devonta Jones. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, I want to rape these boys. That's a big pause. LOL. I wasn't in a pause mood. That should have been a pause, though. I want to sodomize them. Pause. Okay. I want the Bears to be able to take a broomstick, break that bitch off, and ram it in there and make sure they leave a couple splinters in there. That's our job, is to make it tough on the Giants to get to their objective, which is to get a quarterback. They may still get to the number 1 pick. If the Bears decide we're rolling with Justin Fields, then they're gonna sell the pick like they did last year. And the Giants are in a great position because of the trade they made with Seattle. They're in a great position to get their hands on that pick. I just want to make sure that they're as far back as possible, so they have to give up more capital to get up there. That's all. If they're at number 2, then they're going to have to give up something, but it's going to be a lot less painful. I'm trying to make this as painful a transaction. Look, you'll do whatever you got to do to get your quarterback. I'll give up 3 first-rounders, 3 second-rounders. I'll do whatever it takes. I just want to make sure that if it turns out like it did for us in the Robert Griffin III trade, I just want to make sure that you sitting over there sick to death in the corner, face the corner. Turn your ass around. Face the goddamn corner in the first and second round. Turn around. I ain't tell your ass to come out. That's what I want to make sure. That shit stings even more if that guy turns out not to be good. You can't even build around him to see, because you gave up first and second round draft capital. That's what I'm trying to do. Mission accomplished. And I hope they beat New England. I'll be rooting like hell for them to beat New England next week too. And I think they ass finished too. So yeah, damn right. Go Giants. JLG. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Lou, I'm happy that you finally came around to the moral victory squad. MVS, stand up. We in the building. At this point, I got nothing else other than Sam. I got nothing else. And again, all my hope left when we lost to the Bears. And then I think any hope of continuity with EB died in week 7. So I've been outside riding for Sam for a minute here. And now I got a couple of more victories, that I can still, get my hands on. He's still undefeated against the Cowboys. We got a chance to keep that alive on Thursday. We'll see. I want to see him play well. That's a good Cowboys defense. I want to see what he does against them. Clearly, him and EB didn't pass this test. That doesn't mean they have to fail the one next week. So, Major Enlightenment, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Major Enlightenment writes, generally speaking, you can't make 14 Sam Howell a hero every week. This is what you get when not. They try. Well, so to EB's credit this week, he tried to not force Sam to have to be a hero. But in doing that, he ended up putting more pressure on him with the turnovers. EB couldn't foresee and forecast that the turnovers were going to happen. My problem isn't that he ran the football, because they ran it effectively. That's not my problem. My problem is you didn't take advantage of the fact that you were running the football successfully. If you're not going to go play action fake, if you're not going to push the ball vertically based off of the fact that you're having great success on the ground, then what are we doing it for? Because we don't have any explosive backs that are going to take it to the house. Brian Robinson, I love him. I think he's a part of the solution, but we still need a dynamic. Why do you think they put in a waiver claim on Michael Carter? Not because, we desperately need a back, but because he's got some speed in it. He's not the fastest guy in the world. I don't think he's a speed demon, but he's quicker than fast, but he provided you a little something. And they probably knew Antonio Gibson's toe was a problem, but we just don't have anything. So you continuing to run the football is cool, but you're not scaring anybody. I used to say that with Dallas at the end of the Zeke Elliott, like, run Zeke. I don't give a shit. Zeke's not scoring a touchdown. I can still tackle him. We can, as a defense, can still tackle him and get a stop, even if he breaks the long run. Tony Pollard was the one that scared me because he could take it the distance on any carry. You got a big physical back, that's cool if he ain't outrunning nobody, because I can still get a stop. We didn't make them pay for not being able to stop the run. I was waiting. Remember when we ran it against them last year in that second game when Brian Robinson was averaging 9 yards, like 7 or 9 yards a carry, and only got 9 carries in the game? I think he was averaging 7 yards a pop, close to 8 yards a carry. I think it might have been 8 yards a carry. But we went play action fake, heavy play action fake, and he hit Jahan for the deep ball. I was expecting that at some point. When you're running it to that tune, having that kind of success, there has to be some sort of shot off of it, some kind of explosive chunk. Like the Logan Thomas play, wide open in the secondary, that's supposed to happen when you're running a football. Where was that the rest of the game? It didn't exist. That's my problem with the offense today. Fat American. I'm not taking Sam off the hook, though. He didn't play well. He didn't play well. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Fat American writes, bright side today. Yeah, that's right. Hellman's best food, mayo, came through today, almost reaching that Duke status. He told Great Value Mayo, stay home. Hey, he was playing some ball today, man. I told you, I like him. I don't love him. But I've always said he could be a backup for me on my team any day. Core special teamer, a guy you could put down in the red zone when you go heavy package and you got to bring in a run stuff into linebacker. Mayo's your guy. You don't want him in pass coverage, but Mayo, he plays with an intensity and an energy that not enough guys on his team play with defensively. He played well today. He didn't make it quite the Duke status, though. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, a total team failure, but I can't even get upset because I saw writing on the wall after the first half. Got to get a legit GM and build this thing the right way. It's going to be a busy offseason. It's going to be a hell of an offseason. One hell of an offseason. One that we will be locked in. This is the biggest. If last season was the biggest year in franchise history, which it was, because you got rid of Daniel Snyder and we didn't think it was going to happen, then this next offseason is the second biggest offseason in franchise history. And I hate to be a prisoner of the moment, but it's that real. I don't know if they're changing the name or anything this offseason, but I do know wholesale changes are being made. And if they don't get this right, we'll be right back here I won't say 3. 3 is too premature. We'll be right back here in 5 years. Let's say 5 years. We'll be right back. It's almost like, what did we accomplish? The whole Ronald Rivera era seems somewhat like, it almost feels like all for naught. Like, what did we really get done here? A lot of you are questioning, like, what did he even accomplish? What did he even do? If he found Sam Howell, then he did something, which I'm confident he's found us a quarterback. So, if nothing else, he's done that too. But we could be right back here again in 5 years if they don't get this GM right. This is a huge offseason. Huge. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, what do you think of Spagnuolo would do with our defense? Well, the iteration with Chase Young and Montez Sweat, he would have done some dangerous things with that. He would have done some really good things with that defense. Unfortunately, with this group now, there's only so much you can do. Because it's only so much talent that we have, and you can't erase mistakes on the back end anymore with pressure up front. But with his blitzing, his diabolical, maniacal ass, he would have conjured up some shit earlier in the season that would have won us 2 or 3 ball games. We definitely don't lose to the Bears. Remember, they scored all the 3 points in the second half, before shit got, off the rails at the very end. But remember, when we started blitzing Justin Fields, he looked like Justin Fields. So I have no doubts in my mind we would have won some games off the strength of the defense with a better defensive coordinator. Marcus B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, B-Rob got a fumbling problem like Gibby. Nah, they punched it out. The two that he's fumbled have been legit punches, right? Now, I mean, you got to protect the ball. Just because somebody punches it out doesn't mean you get to fumble, but these have been some damn good, well-placed, perfectly timed punches. You know, the one in New England, he didn't even see the dude coming, right? This one, I'm not sure. I'd have to watch it again, but it was a perfect punch on that thing. And he had, just like in the New England game, he had just broken a tackle too, right? So we got his back, though. We got his back. But that's another fumble for him. 2 in 3 weeks now. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, the Giants had defenders trying to punch the ball out all game. When do we ever do that? I've been saying that for years, guys. I've been telling y'all that for 2 years, maybe 3 years now. I've been saying, I've been the whole we don't have dogs bit that I used to always talk about. We have nice guys. I've been doing that for years. That doesn't change. I told you, I watch everybody around the league do this on a weekly basis, and we don't. I get excited. All of us get excited when we see a guy punch the ball on our team because it happens so infrequently. It happens once every 8 to 9 weeks that a guy actually loads up a punch and tries to get it out. Casey Tuhill could have forced Tommy DeVito to fumble today if he wanted to on that sack. He had no idea Casey Tuhill was coming. And Casey was just happy to be there. He was just happy to get to him. Solo Vision Z. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I know this has nothing to do with the game, but how would you feel if we trade some draft picks for Bill Belichick? I'd be pissed because I don't want him here. I want nothing to do with Bill Belichick. Nothing. I'm good. Thanks, but no thanks. I want young energy. That's what I want. I don't want an 80-year-old coach. I'm good. I just told you we want the antithesis. The antithesis. We want the opposite. I can't get that out right now. My tongue is just too thick right now. I can't get it out. We want the opposite of Ronald Rivera. I don't want stoic. I don't want old. I want new. I want fresh. I want vibrant. I want energetic. And I damn sure don't want to give up any draft picks to get him. We didn't trade away those guys to go out and use that draft capital to go get Bill Belichick. That's just stupid to me. Keys, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Super Friends stream about to be rough because the Giants and Eagles swept us, and we got the Cowboys next. I feel like the Super Friends stream is going to be cool. That shit doesn't bother me, man. The thing that I needed to make sure we did, we've done already. We found a quarterback. That was the thing that I set out to do before the season started. Winning was something I hoped we could do, but finding a quarterback was the most important thing. We did that. Now we got to build around him. It's DC. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. DC writes, to all the idiots saying Sam isn't the future or trash needs to pipe down and sit in the corner. He played bad for sure, but the offense didn't give him a lick of help. Still, hashtag NHL. And he was a part of the problem today. I'm not looking to mitigate his role in today's fiasco. I'm not looking to scapegoat others at the expense of Sam. Nah, he was a part of the problem today.
New how order.
As any young quarterback, there's going to be growing pains. You're going to have games that look like this. And he didn't do anything to curtail that. But I don't think he was helped by the play calling. I don't think he was helped by the offensive line. And I don't think he was helped by the turnovers. You know, the fumbles killed drives. You try to get into any kind of rhythm that we tried to get into offensively was stunted by turnovers today. Did we even have a penalty today other than the Charles Leno false start? We pretty much played a mistake-free game from a penalty standpoint. We shot ourselves in the foot with turnovers, though. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Fat American writes, Commanders fans, please, God, let us have a blowout. God knowing the Giants are going to win. Interesting request, but I got you, fam. In the back of my mind, Video Channel had that comment that I read at the end of the show on Friday. And I thought it would be more like that than like this. I didn't think we would lose the way that we lost. If we lost the game, I thought it would be like a walk-off field goal or something like that, like 16-14, some shit like that. I never entertained the idea of us turning it over 6 times and looking lifeless at points of the game and giving up 31 points to this Giants football team. That never entered my brain, But somebody got blown out in this game. It just wasn't the team that we thought. Daniel Moore, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes. Lou, have a happy Thanksgiving. Oh, I am. I'm not going to allow this team to wreck anything. Normally, when we play Dallas on Thanksgiving, I'm nervous, and I'm going to have me a grand old time. I haven't seen the family in over 3 months. I'm going to go there. I haven't had a drink in a month. I'm going to have some great food. I'm going to be in the presence of great people. I'm going to have a great time. Enjoy me an adult beverage or two, and I'm just going to have a great time enjoying the ones that I love the most. This team isn't going to steal my joy. Some of y'all, you might allow them to do that for you. I'm not going to allow them to steal my joy. Okay? Absolutely not. He said, we got NHO and a new owner and a good first-round pick coming up, LOL. We got 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. You can't make me feel bad. And I got a quarterback.
New how order.
Jeremiah Stafford been a member for 16 months. I feel so bad for Sam and Terry. I feel so bad for all the guys that, all of these dudes are working. They putting in work. They working hard. It hasn't yielded victories, but all of these dudes are coming to work every day and busting their ass. I feel bad for them because as a staff, I don't think they've done these guys any favors. And look, some of these players haven't done the staff any favors. It goes both ways, right? But they haven't been put in the best positions to win football games at times this season. And that's on the staff. You come to work on Wednesday and they bust out the game plan and you get excited about it. And then you get into the game and you realize, hey, we're not prepared. That's rough. Terry said on the Pivot podcast, there were times where they put together game plans or they call plays in the huddle. He's like, that shit ain't going to work. That's kind of where we at right now. Like, what are we doing right now? What is this? What are we doing? So the only route Terry can run now is the slant. And I'm not complaining because I want to get it in 17's hands any way I can. I'm not complaining. But you telling me all this running we doing, we can't get Terry on a deep over route? All this running we doing, we can't get Terry on a go ball? You can't run a go and a post, take the safety away and give Terry one-on-one? You telling me all this shit we doing, we can't get Terry McLaurin or Jahan Dotson an opportunity down the field? One-on-one. With all this we doing via the groundwork. It's hard for me to stomach that. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, someone tell us what Ron's saying, please. I don't want to know. Eric Reeves, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Eric writes, Ronald Rivera is very undisciplined. Soft defense, no dogs, a bunch of good character guys. I'm out on EB. No TM and JD. Really? So no Terry McLaurin, no Jahan Dotson. Really? Logan Thomas can pack his things too. Ronald Rivera, Eric Bieniemy, Jack Del Rio, time is up. Ronald Rivera tore up this team. Well, this team was trash when he got here. So he tore up this team. I think this was his last-ditch effort in saving his job. EB was supposed to save his job. And just like we were wrong about EB, he was wrong about EB. And he couldn't admit that because He put his job on the line when he went out and hired EB. The most important thing Ron did last year was he went out and got a coordinator, because that coordinator was going to have to turn this thing around in order for him to have a chance. And while the offense has been better, they haven't been drastically enough better to offset a defense that's been abysmal this season. We're still not scoring points as much as we should. We're still not doing the things that we should be doing. And again, a lot of that is the efficiency in the red zone has suffered the last month of the season. We've gotten worse in the red zone. Since we played the Giants the last time, the red zone offense has not been up to speed. We've done some good things here and there. And the offense, up until this week, the offense has looked competent every week since the Giants game. It did against the Patriots. It did against the Seahawks. It did against the Eagles, rather. It did against the Patriots. It did against the Seahawks. And it looked competent again today. The run game was outstanding. But again, EB lacks continuity with his play calling. You're doing all of this to set up what? If you're not setting anything up, then what are we doing? You think you're going to run it down the field 15 plays without a pass and score a touchdown? Is that the goal? Because we not that team. We're not that team. Charles, the farming guy. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, thank you for helping my depression after every loss, Lou. I'm trying, man. My goal is to try to make sure that y'all keep the main thing, the focus coming into the season. And I made sure I told y'all this earlier this week, because something like this could occur. And I just wanted to keep you mentally sharp with your eyes on the prize. When we came into this season, we said getting ownership, new ownership in here was the biggest thing. We did that. Check. The next thing was finding a quarterback. We did that. Check. We wanted to find an offensive coordinator. We wanted EB to be that guy. He's not. I'll take 2 out of the 3. Okay? And if we can take what we've gotten with Sam, and you look at what we've got with some of the talent that we have on this team, and we can take those guys, the base guys, the foundation guys, the core pieces, and build and add to them, because there are a lot of players on this team that may not be as bad as you think. They just haven't been featured. They haven't been featured. You put some of these guys in better positions to succeed, accentuate their strengths, minimize their weaknesses, and this roster isn't as bad as you think it is. Now, it's still a lot of work to do. Trust me. Like, they got to go out and get the right pieces. But if you're telling me foundationally, and I don't know what Ricky Stromberg is, so I can't say that he's a part of the solution or not. But if you tell me that I got Sam Cosmi, I got potentially Andrew Wiley as a guard, I personally would put Cornelius Lucas in, but again, they're not going to do that, right? And I don't know if the next regime is going to do that or not. But I would take Cole Luke, put him at right tackle. You got Sam Cosmi working next to him at right guard. Yeah, mommy's going to get it for you. Go sit down. I don't know if Ricky Stromberg's your center of the future or not. You may have to find that guy. Chris Paul, you could get away with Chris Paul starting next year. I think you need a new left guard and you need a new left tackle. Personally, I think that's what is necessary right now. But again, you fix the offensive line. Terry, Jahan, B-Rob, add an explosive back and a tight end, and you got an offense. Okay. And again, you don't have to draft all of that. You got money. You could go out here and go get you a Mike Gesicki or Dalton Schultz, spend a little money on one of those dudes if you want. I don't know if you want to do that or not, but I think Mike Gesicki is going to come relatively cheap. And if you decided, hey, I'm going to sit out the tight end thing this year, I'm going to get Gesicki. Okay, got you an athletic tight end that you can do some things with, right? Hold on to John Bates. He'll be your blocking tight end. You got Amani Rodgers coming back. Even if you don't do anything and Amani Rodgers comes back healthy, you know he's athletically gifted. So you add him to the mix. Like, we could do this all offseason. We got time to do this. I don't need to do this today. I'm just telling you, it's stuff here that you can build with. Rip 21 Meest Sean Taylor. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Negative 69 minus 69 point differential at home. Laughing my ass off. There it is. I knew it had to be bad. Now, where does that rank in the league? It's got to be top 3. I know the Giants have been terrible at home this season. So they might be first in point differential at home. We can't be that far behind the Giants. We are awful at home. What has happened to Washington as a team at home, as a fan, as long as I've been, knowing what RFK used to be, and even what FedEx was when it first opened, and to where it is now, that shit hurts my soul. Knowing what Washington used to be as a home field advantage and what it's been reduced to now. That shit sickens me. We're pathetic at home. And you want people to come pay for this? To watch the team? Did you see at the end when Isaiah Simmons scored a touchdown, somebody threw a beer can on the field? That's how I felt. Throw the beer can on the field. Because this is trash. You want people to pay for this? Yeah, right. Rocky D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? I knew something was off when every so-called expert had us winning. Never a good sign. I still believe Sam is our guy. I don't get too caught up in everybody picking us to win. They should have picked us to win. The Giants stink. Nobody accounted for 6 turnovers. Nobody did. Even if the number was just 4, we probably still win this game. 6 though? 6? I remember thinking going into halftime, all right, we weathered the storm. It was not pretty, but it's 14-12. We get the ball to start the second half. All right, let's go do some work. Let's go do some damage. And I wasn't even sitting in front of the TV when Pringle fumbled. My daughter had just woke up from her nap. My son just woke up from his nap. I went and got them some applesauce. So I'm thinking shit is all sweet. I come sit down, and I see Giants players pointing this way. And I'm like, what? Bro, I didn't even leave for 2 seconds. I can't leave for 2 seconds, and y'all already effing up? And the Giants do have the football. Now, they didn't give up any points on that one, but still. You talk about killing momentum out of the break? Eric Reeves, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Eric writes, TM, Terry McLaurin looks like he wants to ask to be traded. EB doesn't get the ball to his playmakers. I don't get it. He stinks, man. So they put the stamp on it. I tried to be lenient with him. I tried to give him time. I tried to, let this situation breathe because I felt like maybe I was being unreasonable. Maybe I was tripping. I'm not tripping. And my initial intuition was that he don't get it. He's one of these scheme over player coaches. I can't get with that shit. I've seen enough of these dudes fail in the league to know better. This league is built off the backs of players, not schemes. It's great to have a scheme. You have to have a philosophical approach and belief. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to understand that players win you football games. And your little funky ass scheme ain't going to be worth a damn if you're not getting the ball to playmakers. Hey, if you got 5 Logan Thomas, you got the best scheme in the league. If you got 5 Logan Thomases out there running your scheme, it ain't going to be worth a damn. Logan be open all the time. He catch that bitch, and I know he about to fall down short of the first down. And I'll be like, Logan, it's another 10 to 15 yards of meat on that bone, and I know it ain't happening with Logan. So my problem is he just didn't recognize where his bread is supposed to be buttered. And when you're doing that in this league, you ain't trying to be a coach for real. Because anybody will tell you, I'm getting my playmakers involved. I'm getting my playmakers the ball. That's how you win in this league. Rob you, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rob you writes, I'm not only over Ron Jack, but EB definitely ain't him either. Get rid of all of Snyder's leftovers. Don't see another win on the schedule, Lou. The Rams are a possible win. The Jets are now. Aaron Rodgers might be back, but if the Jets stink, why is Aaron Rodgers coming back? Like, if they continue to lose, why would he even come back? What's the point of him coming back? If they're 4-9, why would he come back? Right? So if they're in it, he'll be back on Christmas Eve against us. That's the report that came out yesterday. And that's what I said. Damn, if he coming back late December, that's us, right? I've heard this repeatedly from people, with sources close to the situation, that Harris wants to rid the organization of any stench left of Dan Snyder. Players aside, all right? Players aside, from a coaching perspective, from a front office perspective, I mean, that can't bode well for maybe Jason Wright, but I could care less about Jason Wright, as the team president. If he remains, that shit doesn't bother me. I don't care. I've heard that a lot, down to the name. And I told y'all his introductory press conference said to me, hey, he's changing the name. I don't know when, but he wants to change the name. He just didn't want to set expectations for it, right? I think that the way this season is gone, it's an exclamation point that we got to rid ourselves of anything that Snyder had his fingerprints on. So I think that's going to happen. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, we need to start the GM process now. I don't know how exactly that works as far as, are you able to talk to other teams' assistant GMs during the season? I know they put in a new rule that you can't talk to other teams' assistant coaches until after the first week of the playoffs. So I do know that is a thing. But as far as I would like to think you should be able to talk to a team's assistant GM, right? If that's the guy you're interested in, I feel like it doesn't matter. He's not doing anything, day-to-day operations-wise that should stop him from being able to interview for a job. I would love for them to start that process right now. Absolutely. I would have started that process after the Bears game or after the Giants game, right? I would have started that process the minute you figured out that I'm moving on from Ronald Rivera and company, whatever week that was. The first Giants game, the second Eagle, when you decided to trade Montez Sweat and Chase Young, the second Eagles game, whenever that period was, you should have then fired Marty Herney and Martin Mayhew and started that process immediately. But again, the league might have it set up to where that's tampering if you're talking to some other team's assistant GM and you can't do it until their season's over. And if that's the case, then it doesn't really benefit you, right? So I don't know how that works. But if you can talk to another team's assistant GM, I'd start that process right now. Absolutely. Chris B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Chris B writes, sorry, Louie, but Hal blows. Please keep him. Laughing my ass off. I plan to. And when he's kicking ass, I know you'll be nowhere around. You'll be nowhere around. I love guys like you because you'd like to throw rocks and then hide your hand. Right? He'll be here. He'll be here. When he's kicking ass, you won't. Divine Do Care, thank you for super chatting. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I'm scared we will move on from Sam next year. I don't think we will. So what I've been told is that ownership believes Sam is a franchise quarterback and they want to build around him. And you really don't have anything to lose by holding on to Sam right now, right? You really don't have anything to lose by holding on to him because he's on a rookie contract, and it gives you the freedom, the flexibility to see what he can do. Build around him, see what because even if he's not the guy, right? Even if he's not the guy, and you built this thing in the way that you want it to look, and you feel like we've given him a great supporting cast, and he's just not it, which I don't know how anybody could have watched Sam this season and seen when given time that this kid can be legit. Like, he really hasn't been protected this season. And despite that, he still made big-time throws and big-time plays. But that's nor here nor there. The bottom line is, if you're really looking to figure out if he's the guy or not, true evaluation, build around him, see what he can do. And if he's not the guy, and you feel confident that you've put an adequate roster around him, and he's not the guy, then you move on. And it doesn't cost you anything, right? It doesn't cost you a thing. But if you bring a new quarterback into this mix and you don't fortify the offensive line, it's the same shit, just a different toilet. Hosea Jones, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, y'all trash for real. Got swept by the Eagles. Now the trash Giants. Oh my God. Cowboys coming too, but go Birds. Get out of here. Twin D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thanks for the $5, Hosea. Appreciate it. Twin D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, LT, at least we won't have to lament having a mid-first round pick with this coaching staff making the selection. The next regime will have a relatively high first rounder this year. All signs point to a top 10 pick right now. All signs point to a top 10 pick. And that means a top 10 pick not only in the first round, but in the second round too. So you'll have 2 picks in the second round, probably within the first 40 selections, maybe. You'll have 3 picks in the first 40 selections. That's what it's looking like right now. Let's say we end up with the 7th pick in the draft. So you're 7th overall, and then you would be drafting 39th in the or 40th in the second round. And then you'll have the Bears pick, whatever that is, and that'll probably be 35, 36. Think of the damage we can do right there. If this GM's any good, think of the damage that could be done with just those 3 selections alone. Are you kidding me? I'm telling you, we can, with the money we have in free agency, the draft capital that we have, we can turn this thing around very quickly. It doesn't have to be 2-3 years, you know? But that's why it's important that they get this GM thing right. So that's so important. Spence Collies, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, see you next year, Lou. Love you. Happy holidays. Likewise, man. Take care. You know where to find me if you want to come back a little bit sooner. I'll be here. Happy holidays to you and yours, though, man. King Jacoby Jennings, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, sup, Lou? Sup, King? Love the channel. I think it's amazing 17 can't get feature plays like other star receivers. It's a joke every week. Sam had a rough day, but the adjustments came too late to help Leno protect. NHO.
New how order.
Really disappointed in the way things went today. Disappointed in the philosophical approach today offensively from EB. Really disappointed in the turnovers. Really disappointed in the season. But I'm not disappointed in the direction. And I think that's where the disconnect is with most fans, is they can't see past the destruction of this season, the utter disappointment of this season. I was past that in Chicago in week 5 versus Chicago. I was like, okay, I'm back to where I was at the beginning of the season, in the offseason, where I had to tell myself, no matter what happens, we got rid of Daniel Snyder. We got to find us a quarterback. I think we got him in Sam. And I already felt that way about Sam, which is why I started the campaign. And now, can we build around Sam with some of the pieces that are already here? So I had to take myself immediately back to that to protect against being disappointed. A lot of y'all aren't able to do that. So you find yourself feeling like there's no hope. You're back to being hopeless when there's no way to be hopeless because Daniel Snyder is no longer our owner. And change is going to come. May not come when you want it, which is right now. But whether it happens now or it happens on January 16th, it's coming. So, anyway, I digress. Barrett Downing, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, I just know I will not be losing my appetite on Thanksgiving watching this crap. I'm going to watch. I'm not losing my appetite. I'm going to eat my belly full. And normally, I'll be honest with you, I can't eat during a game. I'm a nervous wreck every week. I'll be enjoying more food during this game. Consuming an alcoholic beverage or two, maybe. I do have an obligation after that game that may not allow me to indulge in such behavior, but maybe I will. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I can assure you of one thing. I won't be tripping on Thanksgiving about this team at all. My food will not be bothered one bit. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Fat American writes, Ronald had the nerve to say that if 40 or 53 starters are on this team, if they win the Super Bowl, he's going to send him his ring. Such a mid-roster. Yeah, no, there won't be 40 players from this squad on the team next year. I guarantee you that. There's a chance that there could be 25 or 30 of them. Sure. You can't turn over a full NFL roster in one offseason, no matter how hard you try. But I could see an instance where 25 to 30 of these players are not here next year, just off of the strength of not being under contract and just not wanting some guys back and feeling like you can do better. How many draft picks do we have? It's either 9 or 10 draft picks. So that's new. That's 9 or 10 new players right there. And then free agency, right? And depending on how you go about free agency, you could bring in another 5 to 10 players. We did it in 2020. We brought in like 11 new dudes via free agency in 2020, right? And there weren't a ton of big contracts. When you're turning over a roster, there's usually not a ton of big contracts. So I could see an instance. I guarantee you that it won't just be 13 new faces here next year. A bare minimum of 15 to 20. Bare minimum of 15 to 20 new faces here, if not more. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Swaggy P, thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, no matter how ass the Giants are, we can't find a way to beat them. We can't find a way to beat them with this staff. Keep it in its proper perspective. All right. We can't find a way to beat them with this staff. Now, they've had success even going back to Jay Gruden. But we would find ways to beat them, right? When Jay Gruden was here. It wasn't always pretty, but, you know, there were years where we would sweep them. We would beat them. You know, Adrian Peterson had the touchdown run. What year was that? 2018? I think we swept them in 18, right? Like, we swept them in 2020. No, we didn't. We swept them in 2021. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't care about beating the Giants right now. I told you, I came into the season wanting to bust their shit twice. After the first loss, which was the loss that told me EB wasn't it, I was over that shit. Whether we beat them or not was inconsequential because they're not the answer. I didn't want a streak to be going into next year where the Giants have beaten us 3 straight times and haven't lost to us in 4 straight contests. I didn't want that, but that just means they due for a loss next year. He says, this team is about to ruin my Thanksgiving. That's all I know. I'm only outside. I'm only watching for NHL, and he was bad today, but I'm still outside.
New How Order.
Give you a word of advice, Swaggy Pete. Don't let this team wreck your Thanksgiving, bro. Don't give them the satisfaction, okay? Understand the assignment. Know what's at stake. Know what could potentially happen. It's not going to be anything in between. Either we're going to be hyper competitive on Thanksgiving or we're going to get the doors blown off of us. This is not a close loss to Dallas. Trust me. It's one or the other. And if you go in with that mindset, you'll be fine. Don't allow yourself to be sucked in to another game in which we have no chance of winning. Okay? Understand that we are not going to beat the Cowboys. And if we do, be pleasantly surprised. But don't go in thinking you're going to win, and you should be fine. You should be fine. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. who writes, how do we have 9 sacks and still lose? That is the $1 million question. Every game this season that I've seen with the team that has that kind of production, the other team usually doesn't score very many points. But also in those games, their offense didn't turn it over 6, and special teams didn't turn it over 6 times. So, but the Seahawks had, 11 or 12 sacks against the Giants earlier, and they scored, 3 points? What they beat them, 24-3? The Bills beat us, 37-3? They sacked us, 9 times? That's generally what happens. Your shit gets wrecked when you get sacked that many times. They managed to score 31 points. Antisocial Sully. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB writes, players can't even take showers. No hot water. I don't know what that means, but it's bad, man. I wouldn't even want to take a shower. I just want to go home. DC Fan 88. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, sup, Lou? Every year around this time, we talk about the money we have in free agency. Then we sign one player, then we're broke, but other teams can sign several quality players and not accomplish crap. So that's not going to be the case this year. So first of all, it ain't been a lot of years where we had a lot of cap space. I think 2 years ago, we had some solid cap space. But you had to spend that money, and you had to know that you spent money on Terry. You were going to have to re-sign Duran. And so you knew what was coming down the pipeline. You also knew that the contracts of the 2 defensive ends, at the time, we didn't know we were going to trade both of them. So there was things that you had in the back of your mind. Like, we don't have such players on the roster anymore. The only other guy right now that you look at and say, hey, we know we got to save up some bread for him if he's good. And you can't be 1,000% sure on Sam, as I am. And I don't ask anybody else to do so. But you got to be willing to save some money for Sam. And then you got to understand that there aren't any other blue chippers on this football team. So all the guys that were worth being paid money to have already been paid. Like, if this next group comes in and doesn't pay Cam Curl, I'm okay with that. I want him here. But if the contract doesn't make sense, I get it. If they put out a number and they say, hey, this is as high as we're gonna go. We value you as a football player. We like you. We think you can help this team, and this is what we think of you. And he looks at it and he laughs and he thinks that's disrespectful. That's a smack in the face. And he wants to leave. So be it. But I'm not overspending on a guy that doesn't make plays. I want him here, and I think there is value in Cam Curl. And I do believe he's a good enough player to deserve some sort of a bag. But it's not Justin Simmons or Minkah Fitzpatrick type of a bag. That's not the bag he should be getting this year. The guy that signed in Baltimore that came from the Saints, Williams, that's not the kind of bag Cam Curl deserves here, okay? Because he's not a playmaker. So as far as I'm concerned, you don't have any guys that you have to spend tons of money on. So they should be in a position, theoretically speaking, of course, to actually spend money on guys in free agency if they so choose. Now, we'll see. This next GM could come in, and his philosophical approach could be, I don't like spending big in free agency. I'll go out here and spend on a bunch of players and spread it out and a bunch of small deals, like they did in 2020. And usually, if I'm keeping it a buck with you, when you get a new GM coming into a situation where you're turning over the roster, see the Houston Texans the last 2 years, right? Look at what they've done. They didn't sign too many guys to big contracts. A lot of one-year deals, a lot of 1 year, $5 million, a lot of small deals, bringing guys, turning the roster over. That's what you generally see, unless you got a good team and that's what you're coming into. Arizona, look at what they did. They traded away a bunch of guys. They cut a lot of dudes. They're turning over the roster. Not a lot of big free agent signings because, again, you're not in a position. You sign big free agent deals when you're close. We're not close to anything right now. So what you should be doing is trying to find the right pieces of the puzzle. And then when you get close enough to where a signing here and a signing there pushes you over the top, that's when you spend the big money. I'm not looking to spend big money on the offensive line. I want to draft that. I'll spend on tight end because it's not going to cost you a lot to go get a Mike Gesicki in free agency. It don't cost you a lot to go get a linebacker, as we saw last year We could have had David Long Jr. for 2 years, $11 million. That's the kind of moves. You can build a quality roster doing shit like that. Go out and get Dalton Schultz for a 1 year, $7 million. You can build a quality roster doing shit like that. I want to see what this GM's philosophical approach is. That'll tell you a lot. Where he came from will tell you what he's going to come in here and do. Just look at the way they've done it for the last 5 years. And you'll know. You won't have to guess. You'll know. Last year, our money was tied up because of the ownership change. Shit was just tied up. It's like your assets were frozen. You in the middle of a lawsuit, and right now you can't make transactions because that money is frozen right now. Rob Yu, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rob Yu writes, that look from Sly after the miss is so annoying. Isn't it, though? Every time he looks like he doesn't know what just happened. He is so flummoxed. That's the perfect word to describe his face after a miss. It's flummoxed. Bro, you missed. Why are you looking like that? You know, he every time he misses, he acts as if some gust of wind came out of nowhere. It's been still all day, and then this crazy gust of wind came and pushed this shit far right. Like, bro, you didn't kick it well. You didn't strike it well. Why are you looking like that? You missed. Maybe you thought you struck it well, and you thought it was going straight through the uprights, and it didn't. But yeah, that shit bothers me too. Like, bro, get the hell off my field. Let Sam Cook, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, imagine what Sam can be when being developed by real coaches. That's the hope. That's the aim. That's the goal. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Bloodshot Sports. That's what I'm banking on, too. That's what I'm banking on. Bloodshot Sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, we might be drafting top 5. I really don't see many more wins. I mean, it could happen. I mean, top 5 is, you're at 4. I mean, you still got the Panthers, the Bears, the Cardinals, the Giants. Where are the Giants at? They're at 3, right? They still, I mean, I think they could beat New England next week, though. If they get to 4, they would leapfrog us. I think. I don't know. They might just go with the coin toss when you got the same record. I don't know how that works, but I don't know if we're gonna find. I still think we're gonna end up with a pick outside of the top 5. I think 7 or 8 looks more realistic. I still see one more win, whether that's the Rams or the Jets. No Aaron Rodgers. I think we can beat the Jets, but I think I see one more win. I don't know if I see more than that. I don't think I see too much more than that. Tony P56, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Tony P56 writes, damn. Was any fans emotionally invested? I wasn't, which is why I treated this week the way that I did. Today helped us in the draft. Firing coaches now would help justify a Thanksgiving massacre. But I'm not looking for it. I don't want to be embarrassed on Thursday. Like, the only thing that is getting people fired. But they're already fired. So getting embarrassed isn't going to help that case. That ship already sailed in week 5 when they lost to Chicago. They were fired. I told y'all that then. This shit is over. You can't lose to teams like Chicago and the Giants and expect to keep your job. So I don't want to be embarrassed on Thanksgiving. Spare me that shit. All I'm asking for them to do is be competitive on Thursday. Sam, play well and be competitive. Win, lose, draw, don't care. Just be competitive, and Sam, go out and stroke these boys. Pause. That's all I'm looking for, man. If I can't get that, then it's going to suck. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Fat American writes, shout out to Bad Dog in the chat. I told him last week DeVito would carve us up, LOL. I said, well, he has a Giants jersey on, so there's that. Hey, Tommy! Look at this guy over here. Tommy, look at this kid. Hey! You're a made man, Tommy. You're a made man. Be right. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Be right writes. Well, Lou, I got what I wanted to lose, but damn. Be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. Be careful what you ask for. I didn't want to lose. Because what I wanted already happened, which was Ron and company are going to be gone at the end of the season. So at this point, after I couldn't have a good season, okay, those responsible for not having a good season need to go. That's already been decided. Now there's just a time element that has to take place. That's already been decided. Says, Lou, what if this staff drafted Osiris Torrance, who I really liked, started Lucas at right tackle, spent big on left tackle with the money they gave Gates and Wiley? I don't know if you would have been able to spend big on left tackle in free agency. A lot of the tackles, went to teams that were on the cusp of winning some shit, but let's just go with your scenario. Osiris Torrance went where I thought he should have gone. I thought he was a second-round pick and a damn good one. Had they drafted him, went with Cornelius Lucas, and got a left tackle, we'd be talking about a totally different offensive line, clearly. But they didn't do that. We could play all the hypotheticals, the ifs, what ifs, this, that, or the third, but the fact of the matter is they didn't value too many positions for this shit to work. They didn't value enough positions. To me, they didn't value cornerback enough here, right? They didn't value linebacker at all. They didn't value offensive line. And ultimately, it caught up with them. And they didn't value tight end either. So when you look at the league and the way it's set up, they tried at quarterback. They tried, they swung, they missed multiple times. I can't be hypercritical of them for the quarterback situation because nobody wanted to come here. And I didn't blame anybody for not wanting to come to Washington. And the only reason that this is an attractive job now is because Daniel Snyder's no longer here. But if Snyder was still here, we'd be still talking about the same shit. Nobody wants to come here. So it's different. That's why I keep trying to tell you it's different now. It's not the same. But in saying that, in today's NFL, it starts in the trenches. You got to be able to run the ball and you got to be able to protect. They didn't put enough resources into the offensive line. They went the cheap route every single time, whether it was Wes Schweitzer or it was Andrew Wiley, Nick Gates. They never spent high-level draft capital. Sam Cosmi was the closest they came. Charles Leno Jr., again, solid NFL starting left tackle. You can get by with him, but he is not the answer. But they moved on from Morgan Moses, though. What have they done since? What have they done to really, truly replace Morgan Moses? Cosmi was supposed to be that guy, obviously. Didn't pan out. Tight end. In this day and age, the tight end position is the single biggest mismatch you can create on offense. Their answer was Logan Thomas, who creates a mismatch against no one. In today's NFL, your linebackers are so pivotal because they got to be athletic, they got to be smart, and those are the guys that can make plays over the middle of the football field. Those are the guys that can track down screens, make big plays, and they completely ignored the position outside of Jamie Davis. And that was a reach. So when you look at what they've ignored, I'd say it's pretty substantial. Frankie, yo. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, to add insult to injury, the water at the stadium is broken, so no players could shower after the game per Ben Standing. Oh, that's what That is what Antisocial Sully was talking about. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. There was no, if that's not like, to me, the perfect way for this whole shit to just go. Last year, when we lost to the Eagles and it ended our season, the pipes burst all over the fans. Remember that? And it was like the perfect way for the shit to end. And then the bleachers broke and the stanchions broke and they fell over and almost, fell on the Eagles players and shit. FedEx Field is a dump. And so is this organization right now. However, change is coming. Changes have already been made and more still yet to come. And all I can do as a fan, all any of us can do as a fan, is hope that the right changes are made and they get this thing turned around in the right direction. So fitting, though. FedEx Field is a dump. It's been a dump. And I said the first thing I wanted him to do when he got here was, hey, figure out the stadium situation. Hasn't done that yet. That's a work in progress, though. I'm aware. It's not going to happen overnight. Figure that shit out, though. Epic Games, Jacob Channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Antisocial Sully. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Terry in his presser said he just wants to be a part of the solution. Little shot at EB. I don't know if that was a shot at EB or not, but I can definitely tell he feels like he's not getting enough opportunities. He said it multiple times during the season that he wants to be that guy. He wants more opportunities, and it's falling on deaf ears. And I told you, Terry looked like how I felt after the first Giants game. And that's a bitter pill to swallow. When you invest so much and you believe in somebody so much, and then they show you who they really are, and you've invested so much, that shit stings, man. I told you I was out of it for 48 hours. The Super Friends asked me if I wanted to go on with LB. We had the Eagles that week. And we had the Super Friends that week. So I was like, it really don't matter. I told them I'll show up, but I ain't got much to say. I was in a stupor, man. I was in the dumps because I invested so much in EB this offseason. He was the savior. And Terry did the same thing. And I think today is when he realized this shit ain't going to change. I put my faith in the wrong guy. This is the best quarterback Terry's had since he got here. And he's never been less productive. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Offensive line was worse last year than it is this year. That's not an excuse. Not an excuse. Al Butts, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Al Butts. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, which is worse, our secondary or our O-line? I don't know. I'd say the O-line is worse because I truly feel like if Emmanuel Forbes turns into a first-round pick and Kendall Fuller's still playing at a relatively high level, you could have something in that secondary. Defoe's a good football player. Cam Curl's a good football player. They're not great, but they're good football players. You can win with them. You give me a real slot. I don't think Benjamin St. Juste is a legitimate slot in this league. And I don't think he's bad outside. He's got limitations. But I don't think our secondary is as bad as y'all think. I think we're one or two really good players away from that secondary being a lot better than what it is now. But the offensive line, I can't find a starter past Sam Cosmi right now. Like real spit. And it's not that Wiley or Leno have been horrible this year. They've both have taken turns getting beat, but they haven't been horrible. But we're not looking for just average or mid at tackle, especially. Cosme's the only dude I would bring back on the offensive line. Everybody else, I'm like, I could upgrade. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that in one offseason, though, which is why Cornelius Lucas, Wiley would kick inside the guard for me. I'm paying him. I might as well try to get something out of him. Cornelius Lucas would go outside the right tackle. And now you got 3 positions solved. And if you got anything in Ricky Stromberg at center, now you got 4 out of the 5 positions spoken for. And now you can just draft you a left tackle in the first round. And now your offensive line could be. I still would draft. I would double down and get me a guard, whether in free agency or in the draft, just in case Wiley stinks at guard. But that's how I would go about it, personally. But that's just me. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Fat American writes, people talking about Black Monday. Now I need a Black Sunday evening to happen. It'll be Black Thursday, I think, or Black Friday. Really Black Friday. Because I think that's when everything will happen. Well, Rivera will be fired. That's what I think. Epic Games Jacob Channel writes, thank you for the super chat. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Terry and EB are beefing. I don't know if they're beefing. I just think Terry's disappointed, as am I in EB. Super disappointed. I'm at the point now where I don't really care to hear from any of the coaching staff. Like, I used to be excited about Thursdays to hear from EB in particular, and I don't mind listening to Jack. I don't really care to hear from the coaching staff. I know they're not going to be here. They're not a part of the solution. They're a part of the problem. At this point, it's like I'm wasting time listening to them. Greg Giants 10. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Greg Giants 10 writes, hey, to all Washington fans that are happy screwing us and talking trash, we Giants fans at least got to see our team win 2 Super Bowls this century. When's the last time your franchise was worth a damn? You're not going to get any pushback from me, my friend. You're not going to get a single pushback from me. I don't like playing the Super Bowl game. If you haven't won one recently in the last decade, I don't like flaunting around old trophies. That's not my pastime. But to your point, you won one last in 2011. We haven't. We haven't been remotely close since 1990. 99 is the last time I thought we legitimately had a chance to win a Super Bowl. So you're not wrong. But that's been over a decade ago, my friend. And you've been absolutely horrid since then, pretty much, just like we have. So I'll just say I got nothing for you. Your organization is trash, just like mine. I'll say this. You have an absolutely horrible owner, and he's not going anywhere. I got rid of mine. There's more hope on my side of things than there is yours. But good luck. You're going to need it. And I think your coach is ass too, by the way. So I think you have a lot of obstacles that are in front of you. But misery loves company, man. I can't deny that statement. So we'll continue to share each other's company until one of us figures this shit out. I hope to beat you to that point. Keith, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Keith writes, my bad, 4 fumbles, 3 of them lost, though. Yeah, 3 lost fumbles, 3 interceptions thrown. It was 3 and 3. I thought I was trying to think of Sam's 3 interceptions. I didn't remember the first one. The first one was very forgettable. It was the very first one where he went deep to Diami and Diami falls down. It wasn't a great ball to begin with, but don't fall down, right? Keith, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, the fact I had to correct myself is wild. We stink. The fact that there were even 4 fumbles for you to have to sort through is wild. The fact that we turned it over, I can't remember the last time we turned it over 6 times in a game. There's been a bunch of 5 turnover games, it feels like. 6 is a bit much. 6 is a bit much. Lucky Chuck, Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Chuck writes, we got 9 sacks, but we give up 6 turnovers and lose. I don't remember in NFL history teams that did that. That's got to be the first. I'm pretty sure that's the first time that that's ever happened in NFL history, that a team has achieved 9 sacks. First of all, I would go out on a limb and say this is the first time a team has, because even without the pick 6, we had 9 sacks and gave up 24 points. Again, none of the turnovers directly led to points. There were points off of turnovers, but you could have forced them to kick a field goal. Their offense still stinks. I bet you there was never a team in NFL history that was sacked 9 times that scored over 20 points. I'd probably say 17 is the number. Personally, it's hard to sustain offense when you get sacked 9 times in a game. And yet somehow the Giants were able to not only do that, but thrive in that environment. Only us. Only us. Will Morales, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Will writes, this team is bipolar. Watch them upset the girls on Turkey Day. We still got the baby goat, 14. Poor Sam. Hope EB doesn't get him hurt in the head. I don't trust EB to do anything at this point. Just finish out the season, and then hopefully, I don't want him out of the league. But how can he go back to Kansas City? Is there a job for him? Can they create a job for him? We'll see. But it ain't no work here for you, bro. I ain't got shit for you. You know? This team is bipolar, but I don't see a win on Thanksgiving happening. I'm sorry. I don't. They haven't shown me bipolar this season. They've shown that they're really bad. And when they play well, they can play well enough to threaten you but not beat you. And in order to beat Dallas, they'd have to come with that same effort against Philadelphia but actually win. And they haven't shown the ability to do that this year. Keith, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, someone please tell me why we throw deep shots to Logan like he Tony Gonzalez or something. Meanwhile, Crowder and Pringle getting more targets than Jahan. Again, make it make sense. Again, don't tell me that those guys were open in the progression. I really don't want to hear that shit. I don't. Because now we're talking scheme over players again. And that doesn't resonate with me. You want to piss me off? Talk about your little funky ass scheme. That has one of my best players getting 3 targets in the game. I'm like, Sam, why are you throwing a top shelf seam ball to Logan like he got it like that? Like he's about that life. I'm just sick of Logan just having all this space to operate, knowing he ain't going to do a damn thing with it. And that's why I'll listen to the Brock Bowers conversation. But the big problem is, in this offense, Brock Bowers would eat good. The next guy may come around and tight end may not be as big a priority. And that's why I can't rock with a Brock Bowers in the first round when you need a left tackle. Going Commando, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, I don't know, Lou. Firing Ron sets the precedence that this isn't acceptable. They're going to fire him. When you do it, it's optional. Not just for the fans, but for the players. Look at Antonio Pierce. It can invigorate a team. It can get worse. Just rip the Band-Aid off. But we don't have an Antonio. That's the difference here. The reason why what's Al Davis's son name? Pumpkin Pie, haircut it freak. What's his name? I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. That's why the young Davis could be confident in firing Josh McDaniels. There was a guy that was galvanizing the locker room that he could put in that interim spot and the team would respond to him. There isn't a such guy on this roster, on this staff, rather. Not a single one. Mark Davis. Thank you, guys. Mark Davis. There isn't a single guy on this roster, right, on this staff, that you could elevate to interim head coach that would move these players or move the needle. Not one. Not Del Rio, not EB, not one of these positional coaches. None of them. A lot of y'all used to talk shit about Chris Harris. Oh, he ain't shit. He ain't do this. He ain't that. Secondary got visibly worse this season. Visibly worse. In the year where you decide to spend your first 2 draft picks on secondary members, you get rid of a beloved secondary coach. And the only guy with any juice that would have been an ideal candidate should shit go off the rails this season. Other than EB, and we don't want any parts of him being the head guy. So again, make it make sense. And I don't know, maybe Ronald saw that. Maybe Ronald knew if I keep Chris Harris around, he's the kind of guy that they would promote. Maybe Chris Harris said, man, this is a bullshit-ass organization. I don't want to be a part of this shit no more. This is not like he got I don't think his title was upgraded. He might have got a slight upgrade in title in Tennessee. It wasn't significant, though. Nothing that we couldn't have matched to keep him here. But that's another conversation for another day. I hear you. I understand what you're saying. I get where you're coming from. But again, it doesn't make any sense from a quick turnaround standpoint. I understand what you're saying and what kind of precedence that sets by moving on from him, showing people that this is unacceptable. They'll do that after Thanksgiving. They'll do that after Thanksgiving. Barry Curtis Jr., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Barry Curtis Jr., thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, a Walmart employee threw for 250 and 3 touchdowns and people defending the D. Shaking my head. I don't give an F about turnovers. Thank you. I don't need to add nothing else to it. I don't need to add nothing else to it. Juan Gotti talking sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Juan writes, like you, I gave EB a pass, but my gut never lies. I tried, man. My brain had already told me. My gut said, bro, I'm telling you, you're right about this. And my head was like, maybe I'm wrong. My head was like, I don't think we're wrong here. And then I listened to enough people, and then some visible evidence the last couple of weeks where things seem to be trending in the right direction. Maybe I was a little harsh. Nah, you weren't. He's exactly what you thought he was. We were right, Juan. And we didn't want to be right, but we were right. Font JD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, yeah, fat dude know what I meant. We all know what you meant. We all know what you meant, man. It's all good. We don't need fan-on-fan violence here, okay? We all on the same team. We all rooting for the same thing, okay? Christopher McLaughlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, Lou, hope all is well with you and the fam and that you have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope we draft a left tackle in the first round of the draft and take care of edge and right tackle in the second. What will it take to get Jahan and Terry the ball? Shout out to my guy, Chris, man. Really appreciate you. Hope you and your family enjoy this festive holiday season. And just, I say this to everybody, but you in particular, because you've been so supportive this year. And make sure that you enjoy all of the moments, bro. Because you can't get these back. I always say time is a non-renewable resource. So don't waste it, right? Especially on this team. Don't allow them to upset your stomach. I'm going to watch the game because it ain't shit else to do. Right? Eat till I can't consume anything else and then sit on the couch nice and fat with a drink in my hand and watch this shit happen however it happens. All I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I ask my dad in advance, and this is what I usually do when we stink and we play in Dallas. Hey, man, hey, y'all just take it easy on me, man. And we always laugh about that. Hey, man, just take it easy on me. And I'm going to ask him to do that again. Just, hey, look, bro, if you can find it in your heart, just take it easy on us. All right, man. Please. Look, we don't want any trouble. I promise you we don't want any smoke. I want to get somebody because we did the 0-6 thing in the division. That's a bitter pill to swallow. That's why you couldn't get swept by the Giants, because you got to be able to say, at least I didn't lose to everybody. We could get the broom from everybody in the division. Now, I will say that broom from the collective big, the almighty big broom, which is all 3 teams sweeping your ass, might be what we need to get us the pick that we need to help turn this shit around. One win against the Giants in November ain't going to change a damn thing for us. It could change a lot for them, though, because they may not get what they ultimately want because of wins like this one or the one that they could get next week. One win against the Giants in November ain't changing shit for our fortunes. I'll tell you that right now. You said, I hope we draft the left tackle in the first round. I didn't think we would be in the position. I thought we were going to end up with like the 15th or 16th pick, which would put you out of that tackle range. We're on a dead crash course, a collision course for the top 7 right now in the draft. 8 at the most, I feel like. So that's rated striking distance for a left tackle. And take care of the edge and right tackle in the second. And what will it take to get Terry and Jahan the ball? Just somebody that values who those guys are. You spent the first round pick on Jahan to not throw him, to have him running wind sprints week after week, to have him as a blocker. Come on, man, make it make sense. Make it make sense. I definitely am drafting an offensive lineman in the first round. Left tackle, to be exact. Haven't drafted one of those in the first round since Trent Williams. You're talking over a decade plus. Since the last time you invested a first-round pick on a tackle. Sheriff was supposed to be that in 15, but everybody knew. Except for us, obviously, that he was a guard. Everybody knew. And it took Jay Gruden all of 2 practices to realize that, and they put his ass at guard. I don't think Brandon Sheriff started a practice, like an actual training camp practice at guard. So we literally haven't spent a first-round pick, and Cosme's a guard. So we literally haven't spent a first or a second-round pick on a starting tackle since Trent Williams. Morgan Moses. I apologize. I think he was a 2014 draft, if I'm not mistaken. Was Morgan Moses? Morgan Moses, 3rd-round pick. But a first and second-round pick, haven't spent one of those since Trent Williams. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Fat American writes, where JP with his daily fire everyone message needed. JP probably had other shit to do. And JP has already said, look, bro, I'm not going to keep sitting through this shit. I got other things. I'm a newlywed. I'm a family man now. I got shit I could be doing. Spend some time with my dad. I ain't got to put up with this shit, man. He might be at work, though. Normally, JP, when he's not here, he's at work. So that's my guess. Shadow Striker, 789. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, you and Fat American were right. Defense sucks. Just emotional right now. Forgive me. You don't have to apologize because you weren't wrong, right? You weren't wrong about the defense. They gave us a chance. But against the Giants, that's not good enough. You need to dominate. Just like the first game. The defense gave up 14 points, and there were people defending the defense as if they didn't give up 14 points to the worst offense in football in that first game. And over 240 yards of total offense in the first half in that game. Yeah, the offense sucked ass, but you didn't have to go out and suck ass right along with them. And that's the only point I was trying to make. You weren't wrong that the offense turned it over and they sucked ass, but this defense could have done more. And that's what I said at the beginning of the year before the season started. And there were people upset at me when I said, I need the defense to step up. Y'all keep talking about how this is an elite defense. I don't see that shit. You want to be elite? Go out and make plays. And people are like, this defense was the only reason we were any good last year. How could you say they need to do more? I hope you paid attention this year. Says, born in 03, all I see is pain. Another year of maybe next year. I get it. But this is the first time in your fandom that you can ever say Daniel Snyder is not your owner. And just off the strength of that alone, you should have some sort of hope. Football during the season takes precedence over everything. And so it's hard for you to focus on the big picture because we get one of these every single week, right? And then once it's not there anymore, you can think big picture because there isn't the distraction of something immediate in your face. So this distraction is distracting you from the overall big picture. And this is what I've been trying to convey to y'all. I get the distraction of a game every single week and you wanting to see the team perform well and not have it be the same shit over and over again. But understand that it's bigger than this shit. We got a new ownership group. We're going to have a new GM. We're going to have a new coach. We're going to have a new staff. We're going to have a new beginning and an opportunity for a clean slate. Something we haven't had since 1999. Yes, this sucks. Losing sucks. Losing without hope is even worse. That's where the Giants are. I don't want to be there. That's despair. I've been there for 2 decades. I'm not there anymore, and I don't want to go back. So if I got to take these lumps now so that the next GM comes in here with a top 10 pick, with 2 picks potentially in the first 10 in the second round, so you're talking about potentially 3 top 40 picks? Well, keep beating the shit out of me then. I'm going to curl up in the fetal position and take my lumps now. Maybe I'll be smiling after all of this shit is all said and done. I get it. It's frustrating, losing year after year. But this is different. This is why I keep trying to tell y'all. It's different. Until it's not different, until Josh Harris showed us that he's a terrible owner or the GM that he selects is a terrible GM, it is different. You ain't been here before. If you've been a fan since 03, you ain't been here before. All you know is Snyder and Danny, right? All you know is Vinny Serrato. All you know is Bruce Allen. All you know is dysfunction. That might be over after this season. After the rest of the Snyder stench is removed from this organization, it may be no more dysfunction for all we know. We might be back. We might not be. But at least there's a shot. And a lot of you are missing the point. Don't allow the week in, week out distraction to distract you from the overall goal, which is to turn this shit around and become a triple P. I don't give a damn about 9-8, barely sneaking into the playoffs. In the moment, that shit is cool, but that's a temporary high. I'm looking to do this shit every single year. I'm looking to be 7-2 after 10 weeks of football as one of the best teams in football. That shit was never going to happen with Rivera, JDR, EB. Shit was never going to happen. Wasn't going to happen under Daniel Snyder. All of them are about to be gone. Understand that we have a chance to have a chance. Whether it works out or not, only time will reveal, right? But we got a chance to have a chance. And if y'all can't see that, if you're too caught up in the distraction of what the season has been to understand that the bigger picture is everything that we want is still in front of us, big picture, I can't help you. I can't. I get it, man. I've been a fan longer than most of you. Not all of you. But a lot of y'all are younger. I've been a fan longer. I've dealt with more than you've dealt with. So you being frustrated, you ain't no more frustrated than I am. But I also understand help is on the way. How good is the help? I don't know. But I do know help is on the way. I do know that the paramedics have been called. They are on the way. Now, are these dudes coming out to do CPR? Are they trash? Is his handles nice with the defibrillator? I don't know. I do know help is on the way, though. That's all I can ask for, is that help be provided. It's here. How good is the help? We'll find out. Red Wing 01. Been a member for 13 months. Writes, death, taxes, and the Giants beating Washington seems like a recurring theme. This next coach, I know one thing. When he comes in here, he better be good in the division. I'm looking past the Giants. If you told me we swept the Cowboys and the Eagles and we got swept by the Giants again, okay, cool. I just want to be good in the division. This next coach, whomever he is, he better know how to beat the division teams. He better know how to beat Dallas. He better know how to beat Philadelphia. And he damn sure better be able to avoid being swept by the damn Giants. If you ain't sweeping Dallas or you ain't sweeping the Eagles to offset a sweep by the Giants, you better be able to at least beat them once. Ain't no reason you shouldn't be able to go at least 3-3 in this division every year, especially with the Giants stinking almost every year. Ain't no reason for you not to be able to go at least 3-3. Because we've had years where we've split with Dallas or we split with the Eagles. We usually beat Philadelphia at least once. But we can't seem to beat the damn Giants. This next coach, the biggest problem we had, and I said this before the season started when I expected to bust their shit twice, we got a quarterback now. What I didn't see coming was our offensive coordinator was going to have two of his worst games against you this season. He was going to lose his goddamn mind twice. So I just need better coaching, man. I can't stress this enough. I just need better coaching. And again, today wasn't just on the coach staff. You got your players turn it over 6 times. That's not all. And it's one thing if, it was scheme based. In the case of Sam, some of those interceptions and the shit was scheme based. But the fumbling, that ain't got shit to do with the coaching staff. That's on players. Christopher McLaughlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. My guy Chris writes, hey Lou, the result of this game is rock bottom for the staff and the team. I know it's in the middle of the season, but who would you want as our new GM and coach? I don't know the answer to that. I haven't done my homework. You know what? Over this pseudo bye, I think I'm going to start diving into that because at this point, I think the fan base is more interested in that stuff than they are the upcoming opponent. Right? The playoffs are dead now. Like there was a faint pulse. That shit's dead now at 4-7. Right? So that's over with. So now I think the fan base is more interested in GM candidates, and I'm less into the whole head coaching thing. Because the guy that's going to matter the most in all of this is the GM. That's who I'm like. All of my focus is in on that guy in particular because he's going to be the one that then picks the head coach. And he's going to be the one responsible because like a lot of you are like, what difference does having all this draft capital make if Ronald and company are the ones making the picks, right? What good is it if the guys picking the groceries can't cook, right? You can have all of this money, all of this capital. You can go to the best store. You can buy the best ingredients, right? But if the guy can't cook, what difference does it make? That's the coach. If he can't cook the ingredients that you provided him with, what difference does it make? In the case of the GM, we've given him all the resources that he could ask for. If he don't know what to buy, we running in circles. We on a hamster wheel. We're right back to Ron and company. So we've provided this new GM, whomever he is, with all the resources he could ask for. He's going to be shopping at a very good store. Money's not an issue. Okay? The quality of whatever you want to purchase, not an issue. You can buy whatever you like. If he has no idea what he's picking, and he's just picking up random shit, we right back where we were. So give me the GM, because everything is traced back to him. The coach, the players that's going to be playing on Sundays, all that shit is traced back to the GM. So my main focus this offseason is get this GM shit right. Everything else will fall into place. You get that shit right. How much is Derek Forrest being injured hurt this defense? It hurt, but some big plays have happened because he wasn't out there. The Bears game to me was the game it hurt the most, because you saw his absence in all of its splendor in that game with all the big plays given up. It was very noticeable that Percy Butler was back there, not Derek Forrest. And then the Seahawks game and the Patriots game, those are plays that Derek Forrest has made for us. He caps those plays. But I don't know if, Derek wasn't picking the ball off. He wasn't having an impactful season. I don't know if he would have snapped out of it and all of a sudden gotten back to his turnover forcing ways or not. I don't want to put too much stock into it. I don't want to oversell what his importance was. But he's a quality young player, though. I do know that. Mr. HTTR, been a member for 10 months. Who? Appreciate you. J Mart, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, they exploited our weakness. 52, 72, cornerback, and EB. I just keep waiting for Jamin to learn on some of these routes. Then you saw the deep over route they ran. We didn't communicate. You think Kendall Fuller's going to be able to get through all that traffic to keep up with his guy? It's just so frustrating, because we just don't communicate at all. They should add another touchdown to Saquon. Will Diggs, been a member for 14 months. Who writes, KJ Henry looked good facing Andrew Thomas. I thought KJ had a good game. I got to watch it, though. I don't want to give him credit for something that he didn't do. But it felt like he was around the ball a lot. It felt like he was constantly in the backfield. So I got to watch the film to see. And unfortunately, because this is Thanksgiving week, we won't be able to watch it together as a group like we normally do. But I'm going to take a look at it just to see what, in fact, did happen. And did he play as well as it appeared watching this thing live? Derek B, thank you for the thank you for being a member for 26 months. Goading EB after 6 turnovers is ridiculous. All players, 100%. Oh, I'm gonna do it. You can cap for him if you want, but the play calling wasn't good enough today. It looked Scott Turner-ish to me. We got in the red zone. What kind of bullshit ass play calling was that when we got down there? And I said, Logan, you needed to score there, bro. He ain't athletic enough. An athletic tight end scores right there. Logan ain't athletic. I said, we ain't scoring a touchdown here. You got to score there, bro. That was some piss poor play calling down there. The one run to Derek Gore, are you like, what the? Bro, you just wasted a down on Derek Gore on an outside zone gun run? Man, if you don't get the hell out my face with that bullshit. No play action fake off of all of this success we having on the ground? Nah, EB got to take some of this too. Hell no. Hell no. That last drive looked like garbage. Looked like trash. It'd be nice if De'Ami Brown catches a wide open slant with a ton of space in front of him. That would be awesome. But that wasn't the EB I saw last week against Seattle. That wasn't the EB I saw the week prior against New England. That wasn't the EB I saw against the Philadelphia Eagles. Mr. HTTR, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, what's up, Lou? What's up, Mr. HTTR? Wifey calls you little baby angry. She only catches you after a loss. That's unfortunate, because I'm really a nice guy. Dressed in all black like the Omen. Yeah, and I, black doesn't really help set the mood, right? But this is a necessary evil. We need all black for times like this. I just tell her she doesn't know shit about family business. HTTR, HTTC, NHO. And I don't want to even simplify it like that. She just doesn't understand. She's got, first of all, she needs to be exposed a little bit more to what's going on here. Like, if you see me every time after a loss, it's gonna seem like I'm always upset. And that's not always the case, right? And I'm always in black when we lose. So he's always in black. He's always yelling. He's always upset. Yeah. Anyway, tell your wife I'm actually a nice guy, and I don't always dress in black, and I don't always yell. Right? John Perez, there he is. You asked for him. There he is. JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. JP writes, I'm done, man. I'm done, and so are the fans. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, and you're not alone. All right. Benjamin Slade, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Benjamin writes, hypothetical, if we had the #1 pick, I know we won't, but would you take Caleb or back NHO and trade for the farm? I would trade back. I would trade back. I'm riding with Sam. I think we got the guy that is here to help change the culture, change the way that people view us. He's got the tools. I've seen it. I know. I've watched enough NFL to know what a good quarterback in this league looks like. I try to tell y'all Kirk Cousins can play in this league. Is he a dynamic playmaker? No. But can you win? You can win big with Kirk Cousins. You put the right team around him, you can win with Kirk Cousins. Sam Howell, you can win football games, and Sam is a playmaker, unlike Kirk Cousins. You can win with Sam Howell. You want to build this team even faster? You trading back would net you so much draft capital. But again, we're not going to be the #1 overall pick, so we don't have to play that game. You were just testing my loyalty to Sam. You even need to ask that question, really. King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Ron's inability to beat the Giants will be what I consider his biggest failure in DC. It's infuriating. Well, it's the reason he didn't make the playoffs last year. So you could list that as one of the biggest factors in his demise, but there's a lot of other reasons that trump not beating the Giants as to why he won't be here. But that's one of them. If you were making a list, it's probably on the short list, because you beat the Giants last year and you make the playoffs. We're viewing Ronald in a totally different light this year. Going into this season, he's not fired already in a lot of fans' minds before the season even starts. So I get where you're coming from. King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, everything pointed to a loss. Week after a West Coast trip, playing the Giants, got the Cowboys on Thursday, possibly looking past the Giants, wearing black and at home, yet I still picked us, LOL. A lot of things pointed to us losing, but you just didn't think it would happen. None of us did. But that's the beauty of Ronald Rivera and all of his splendor here in Washington, is expect the unexpected. I don't think I was ever more shocked in the Bears game this season, week 5. I totally was not prepared for that. Not after what we had just did the week before against the Eagles. Totally came out of the blue. This one, I could see it. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm not shocked by it. Nothing shocks me anymore with this team. Font JD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Font JD writes, even without Aaron Rodgers, we must look like prime rib dinner to the Jets. Straight food. Well, that defense is licking their chops. If they like, shit, we could get 6-7 sacks, turn them over 5 or 6 times. Yeah, we look like food to any comparable NFL defense. That's why I'm scared on Thanksgiving against Dallas. DeRon Bland got another pick 6 today. I'm like, well, shit. He might get one next week. Chipper, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. Mob, y'all know what to do. Show Chipper some love. Greatly appreciate you. Welcome to the squad, Chipper. Juan Gotti talking sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Tex turned it around in 1 year. It takes 3 to 5 years. That's what Ron told us, to change the culture. Now, the Texans organization is not our organization. So it's not apples to apples. Because our organization was one of the worst in pro sports, not just in the NFL. You got to understand, like, keep everything in its proper perspective. It wasn't just about wins and losses here. We had a lot of shit going on outside. The name, the lawsuits, Daniel Snyder, the bad juju, the bad optics. We couldn't get the simple shit right. London Flector, the Sean Taylor statue. Like, there was so much wrong fundamentally with what we were doing. Everything was wrong. The Texans don't have that. They just had to get over Deshaun Watson. Once they moved on from him, they moved on from that whole situation. Now let's just build this shit the right way. There's a stench that still remains heavy with this organization with Daniel Snyder. We haven't moved on from that yet. The cleanse is almost complete. It'll be done come January. Chipper, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Dorsey OC next year. Who would you like as coach? I'm not, as I mentioned already. I've got a short list of coaches, but I don't really worry about coach right now. I'm worried about GM. GM is first. So that search is first. And then once that GM is selected, then I'll start turning my attention. I mean, and we can have the conversation. But I want a GM in here, and I want him to pick the coach that he's comfortable with, who he thinks has a bright future in this league, who he thinks will make the best music with Sam Howell, who he thinks will maximize Terry McLaurin. CGM 87, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. CGM 87 writes, Lou, the dump someone featured on my 600-pound life takes after 5 Big Macs would be an upgrade to this coaching staff over paper boat folded arms Ron. Time to send this staff to the sewer and meet Pennywise. I'm just going to tell you, we're over them. We're ready to move on. And in due time, it'll happen. You know, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, or January, it's going to happen. My money's on Friday, him being fired after the Thanksgiving game. As soon as they get back to Ashburn, they're going to go ahead and move on and promote somebody. I think it's probably Jack. It makes the most sense to just make it Jack. Then they can promote like Steve Russ, the linebackers coach, to defensive coordinator. Jack's been a head coach in this league before. I think that makes the most sense. And you just finish out the season with Jack Del Rio as your head coach. That's my guess. CGM 87, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, I'm worried Harris will want a splash and hire Bill Belichick over young Ben Johnson, but if it is Bill, we won't be 29th in D. McDaniels cannot come to DC. I think that's a package deal. Wherever he goes, he's probably going to bring Josh McDaniels with him. So, and McDaniels wouldn't be bad for Sam. And the beauty with that situation would be you ain't got to worry about McDaniels leaving anytime soon. Right? McDaniels knows offense. He's just not a good head coach. So, I don't want any parts of that, though. I'm not trying to talk y'all into that because I don't want any parts of that. And everything that I've been told about Josh Harris is that he's going to do this the right way. Everything I've been told from people close to him, from people who have been with him, or people that have talked to people that have been with him throughout the process with the 76ers and the Devils, they all say the same thing. That's not his MO. Looking for the quick fix. But the NFL is different than the NBA or the NHL. So we'll see. And you're right. Our defense wouldn't be as bad as it is with Belichick. But again, I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about getting the right guy in here and not somebody. Like, even if Belichick comes here, how long is he going to be your coach for? Like, that's the shit you should be thinking about. You want to have to replace your coach in 4 or 5 years? Belichick, old as hell. How much football you think he got left in him? CGM87. Right. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, will Ron be fired before kickoff of Jets Miami 3 o'clock Friday? I think so. Yeah, I do. I think he'll be fired that morning. That Black Friday morning. Absolutely. I am not sold on EB at all, and seeing why he has been passed with all the interviews. It all makes more sense now. Right? It all makes more sense. Just listening to him talk at the podium, he doesn't do a great job, as he likes to say, of communicating clarity. So I could see why it would be hard for someone to walk away from an interview with him feeling like this is the guy we got to hire. I can see why. So it makes sense. And then watching him as a play caller struggle the way he has this season at times, it has been infuriating for sure. John Cedillo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy John writes, what's up, Lou? Tough loss. With the Washington-Dallas game Thursday, if it starts to get ugly, when are you looking to see Hal sit out, especially if protection doesn't hold up? I don't ever want to see him not in the game. Our line isn't what it was in the beginning of the season, where he was literally being held hostage back there and a sitting duck. This line is good enough to keep him from getting sacked 12 times in a game. Here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to use the quick game. We're going to have to use the screen game. The things that we've been talking about all year, we got to do those things. Going to have to run the ball like we did today. That's nice. But you're going to have to get some big plays in there somewhere. You can't think you're going to run 5, run 6, run 7. We're not consistent enough to have a 15-play drive where something doesn't go wrong. We just proven that we are not consistent enough to do that. There has to be some chunk plays in there somewhere. That's what they're going to have to do against Dallas. However it comes, it just has to happen. I'm not looking for Sam to leave the field at any point. He's got to fight through whatever happens. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. But I'm looking for a good showing from him, a bounce back showing against Dallas. I really am. I watched what Carolina did today. Their offensive line is just as bad as ours, and they were moving the football against Dallas. I'm not blown away by Dallas's defense. It's a good unit, but I think we can move the football on them. CGM87, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Right. At least fire Vesselmeyer. Secondary has been absolute ass. I don't know if it's that simple as just the secondary coach sucks. You know, I don't know if it's that simple or not. Usually it's not that simple. It's not that cut and dry a lot of times. Frank McLaughlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Frank, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, Lou, Frank, I always try to stay positive, but games like this make it hard. Frustrating to watch. I know, Frank. It's terrible when I'm doing mock drafts in October. LOL, shaking my head. On a side note, I would love to pick up Notre Dame's Joe Alt, and he'll be the #1 tackle selected, which is why I don't think we'll get our hands on him. I think we'll have to settle for whomever the #2 tackle is in the draft. Nate Master, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Nate writes, what's your full opinion on NHO and his future right now? Nothing's changed. You know how I feel about Sam. You know where I stand on Sam. You don't even have to ask me that question. I built in games like this one, like the Bills game. I built those games into his season. I knew this. What I didn't build into his season was going to be leading the NFL in passing attempts. I didn't build that into it. And if he doesn't throw the ball as much as he's thrown it this season, he probably doesn't have as many interceptions. Obviously, he doesn't have as many touchdowns, probably doesn't have as many yards, but I would have been willing to trade that off, or sacks for that matter. But it is what it is. None of this stuff moves me in any direction. I knew there would be growing pains. I knew that there would be some games where I go, man, that was ugly. I knew that. My stomach is ironclad, okay? I'm built for this. I'm outside for a reason. I don't waver. These types of performances don't scare me. What scares me is when a guy looks like he can't compete at this level. When the moment looks too big for that guy, when the game is on the line. Even though we played like horse shit today, Sam got the ball. I thought we were going to go win this game right now. It wasn't until De'Ami Brown dropped the slant, followed by Charles Leno Jr. false starting with the clock running, that I said, we're going to lose now. Any momentum we were building on that drive was killed at that moment. He can only do so much. Because if De'Ami catches that slant, there wasn't a giant defender within 3 yards in any direction of him. He's catching that, and he's inside the Giants' 30-yard line. And then you probably burn your last time out, and let's go do these boys at that point. I've seen everything that I needed to see out of what I deem to be a franchise caliber quarterback. Now it's about repetition and finding him an offensive line and finding him a coordinator and somebody that's going to build the offense around the strengths of this team, which is the receivers right now. Of course, we can't see that because our receivers don't get the football enough. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, EB was trying to settle the O down, but they still had turnovers. There's settling the offense. Again, I'm not opposed to running the ball. A lot of you are missing the point. Me and you have these discussions very often, and it seems like we're talking in circles because you're arguing about something that I'm not arguing with you about. Like with the sacks. I'm not arguing that sacks aren't bad and they kill drives. I'm arguing about how you're going about adjusting to the sacks. What you're telling Sam he should or shouldn't do because of the sacks. We're not arguing about sacks. Sacks are bad. I'm not arguing about EB play calling today in terms of running the football. I want to know where this has been all season. Why today of all weeks? Why today? We've had games where the run game was even more successful than what we saw today. Bills game, Brian Robinson was averaging 7 yards a carry. He only got 9 carries in that game. Last week against the Seahawks, he was averaging almost 5 yards a carry. He got 8 carries. This has been a theme. We've had games. The Eagles game, he was killing them. He didn't get the ball. Where's this been all season? Why today? Why decide to stick with the run today? I don't understand. The Bills game, we didn't need to calm the offense down against the Bills. We was never getting blown out of that game. We didn't need to settle the offense down that week. What are we talking about? Where's the play action fake off of the run that's highly successful? Is the best we got an over route or a corner route to Logan Thomas? That's the most we can get out of all of this running that we're doing? No, you can't turn the football over. That's not on EB. Not the fumbles, at least. No, Sam can't roll out on a 3rd down and long and try to throw it with 2 giant defenders in his face, get his arm hit, and throw a pick. No, you can't do that. That was a punt, though. I wasn't even tripping off that. If he threw it out of bounds, the same shit would have happened. Just Tressway kicking it, putting foot to boot the ball instead of a pick. I'd rather him not add another pick to the ledger, but who gives a shit? At the end of the day, I don't care about that. Same difference. Tress didn't kick it today well either, if we're being honest. But that's nor here nor there. The bottom line is EB needed to be better today. And he's been inconsistent all season, and today was no different. Who are we? What is our identity? And why can't you get your best playmakers of football? You can't even have a conversation about EB with me because I can't get past the fact that Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson are being relegated to looking like B and C plus players this season. Because you refuse. Terry McLaurin doesn't have a 100-yard game this season. Let that shit sink in. Let it sink in. Jahan Dotson is the only player on this team with a 100-yard performance this season. And 2 weeks later, after he did that, no catches, 1 target. Make it make sense. I can't have an EB discussion with anybody because I can't get past the fact that you're not utilizing the few talented players that we have on offense. You're not utilizing them to the maximum ability. And for that, that's an unforgivable sin for me. Ain't no coming back from that. 7756 JoJo. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. 7756 JoJo writes, get rid of the black uniforms. They are terrible as we are. I'm still outside for Sam. NHO.
New. How order.
I would get rid of the black uniforms. I'm personally, if you're not going to paint the end zones, don't wear the black uniforms. That's kind of how I feel about those. There's nothing worse from a visual standpoint than us coming out in all black. No other team in the league does this, by the way, where their team comes out in an alternate uniform and the field doesn't match their uniform. I've never seen that. That shit is crazy to me. Like, if you come out in a throwback uniform, then the end zone is in a throwback, right? If you got a different color than is standard operating procedure, then the end zone should represent that. I don't know. That's just me. Stu Vision. Hey, Stu, don't get out of pocket here because I got some flames for your ass. It's just sitting in the chamber. If my coach want a bitch and he went for 2 the first time, you wouldn't even be here right now. You would have blocked me on all social media accounts. So watch it. Watch it, Stu, because I got some heat for your ass sitting in the chamber. Be careful how you talk to me. Talk to me nice now, because you already know you was this close to getting done in twice. So watch how you talk to me. Okay? I know, and I said this before, you're not the Giants. I know that shit sound crazy. You're not the Giants. You can get this work. Be careful how you talk to me. Stu Vision. You know what? This ain't even Stu. This is somebody else. This can't be Stu. Stu ain't no member of my channel. You fall down them steps on me, bro. Your team did. Get your little laughs in now. Get your little laughs in now. I don't blame you, okay? I don't blame you. Okay? I don't blame you. Just know, soon as we get y'all one time, that ass is mine. Pause. That shit, and it's gonna be grisly. You would have thought we just won the damn Super Bowl. Wait till we get a coaching staff. You bitches are in trouble. I feel like Denzel on training day at the end when he found out he was being deceived. You ungrateful motherfuckers. I'm gonna put cases on all of you bitches. Have your ass at Pelican Bay. Wait till we get a damn coach. This is why the football guys don't let me have shit. Because he know I ain't shit. And I don't know how to act. Maybe it'll never happen. Because he know the kind of heat I got for y'all. And he's like, bro, I don't want you offloading that. No, that's not okay. Anyway, Zoe Life, no life. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, no big money tied to the Jags, large cap space, draft picks, What a time to be a fan of this team. We don't have a top 5 pick, but we have a quarterback. Can't wait. And that, you know what? I don't want to be super optimistic, right? At a time like this where everybody's distraught and they're pissed off about the way the season's gone and another loss to the Giants, I don't want to make it seem like you should be like cheering for what's happening right now. But just understand where we sit. Understand what the situation is. That's all I'm trying to advocate to you guys. It's just understand what this is. We have a chance to turn this around, and very quickly, I may add, if the right pieces come in. Because when you have a quarterback, you get to skip steps. That's the shit that y'all missing. If your quarterback situation stinks, you want to know why Ron couldn't turn it around? Because we ain't had a quarterback. There were years where the defense was good enough. 2020 and 2022, the defense was good enough. If you had better quarterback play, we wouldn't have been having that conversation. If Sam Howell was the quarterback of this team doing the shit he's doing this year, last year, we would have made it to the playoffs. And we probably would have won a game. So understand, it don't have to be this long, arduous road back to respectability. You get the right GM in here, you get the right coach in here, he picks the right players, adds to what we already have. Sam plays like I think he's capable of playing. They protect him. Just like that, this shit could be turned around next year. Again, a lot of ifs. I ain't here to sell you on a dream. I'm just telling you that the future's not as bleak as some of you may think. I'll just say that. Keith, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Keith writes, I'm outside singing next to the fire. Like New Jack City. Living just enough for NHO. Living just enough.
New how order.
Great. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, been a minute. It has. I was like, damn, I ain't said that in a long time. Been super busy over the last few years. Thoughts are fire Ron, promote EB, and get McVay in the offseason. It would be a homecoming. McVay's not leaving the Rams to come here. That's one thing. Two, you can promote EB. It don't really matter who they promote the interim head coach. It really, at this point, inconsequential. Whoever you decide to put there. Cool, whatever. McVay's not coming back here. He'd rather retire than come back to Washington. And again, the most important thing is the GM. The most important thing is the GM. Bari, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Bari writes, they should just make Ryan Kerrigan DC after this. And that might happen. They may elevate Jack and elevate Ryan Kerrigan. Who knows? Ryan Kerrigan don't know the first thing about play calling, though. So I don't know. Maybe Jack still calls the defense as the head coach. That could happen too. Frankie, yo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, fire the coaches, hook up a PlayStation on the sideline, put in Madden, and ask Madden for what plays to run. Probably have a more cohesive offense, LOL. Maybe that's the case. Like I said, EB wasn't terrible from the standpoint of the runs. EB was terrible because he didn't do anything with the runs. He didn't do anything off of that action. You created an advantage for yourself by how you were running the football today, and you didn't seize the opportunity. What are we doing? And then it seemed like the shotgun just was out of sorts today. Didn't seem like we had a plan offensively when Sam was in the gun. Whether it was a run or a pass, it just seemed disjointed. CGM87, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, we'd be better with Jay this year than Ron. Sad. I always told y'all, Jay wasn't a bad coach. Jay's biggest downfall is he never found a real defensive coordinator. That was his biggest down. The offense was always cooking under Jay. When we had Kirk, at least. And even when we had Alex Smith that next year, we started off, 6-3 or whatever it was? Jay's problem was he couldn't humble himself enough to go get a real defensive coordinator. And we didn't have real defensive talent either. Who are we kidding? The roster was old on defense. It wasn't very good. But that's why he wanted to keep guys like Preston Smith around, because we didn't have shit. But they didn't draft well. That's Bruce Allen's fault. We didn't draft well. We didn't sign well in free agency. He wanted to go sign guys like Jaron Johnson, you know, and Stephen Paya, right? And, you know, that's the type of shit we were on. So, you know, hard to win in this league when you got it. And that's why it's going to be important. Because I don't care how good of a coach you are. If you don't have no talent, shit ain't going to happen for you. Mike Lowry, been a member for 7 months. Who? Right. David Mayo, game MVP, masterful coaching by MAGA JDR. I wouldn't call it masterful, but I will say, you didn't hear me complain about Jack once in this game. The defense didn't play up to its standard, but this is what they've been. They've been a feast or famine defense. They're either excellent on third downs, 4 of 13, but they're giving up big plays. And they've been that way all season long, and that continued today. 9 sacks, and you still managed to give up big plays and touchdowns. No red zone defense in this game. They got down there, they scored. You know, it's loser football. But Jack wasn't terrible today. He blitzed his ass off. Some of his better blitzes, too. Journey Reed, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, we finna get swept by the division, Lou. Yeah, that's the reality of the situation is, yeah, that's probably going to happen. That's probably on deck. The only hope we have is that Dallas don't need that Week 18 game. And we be playing our starters and we beat them. That's the only way that this isn't a sweep out of the whole division. Can't see Ron lasting past next week's game after Dallas. I'm cool off this team, yo. Just want to see the new regime. Yeah, I mean, a lot of fans are at that point now. That's why like if you were looking to keep people engaged, despite wanting Ron and company go, you needed to beat the Giants. Give us a reason to go into the game against Dallas saying, hey, if you beat them, you're back to 500. Let's see what can happen. Now everybody's, you know, a lot of people are checked out at this point. Jack Miller, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jack writes, I hope our top 2 candidates for GM are Mike Borgonzi, Kansas City, or Adam Peters. Adam Peters is the guy that's at the top of my list from San Francisco. Interviewed with the Giants twice. Has been a hot name that hasn't been hired. I love the way they do it in San Francisco. I think that's the guy that I'm looking at. He's sharp. He's young. I think that's the guy that I've got my eye on. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Stu Vision, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Stu writes, I'm definitely a member of the mob. All live, bro. Oh, really? I didn't know. Okay. Interesting. All right, Stu. You gained a little bit of respect from me. I haven't seen you before, though. After none of the Eagles games, none of that shit. This is the first time you showed up when we down bad. So I'm a little bit skeptical, but okay. Maybe there's a chance I don't unload this clip on you. Maybe. And you didn't talk too reckless. You didn't say anything out of pocket. There's a chance for you yet, Stu. Hey, I'm watching you, though. Just know that. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny, thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, pathetic, Lou. Yeah, it was. Told you we would lose, but I'm not here for that. The toilets and showers stopped working because of the shit that was displayed today. Good one. Good one. Somebody said, hey, it ain't them that's going to get blown out, it's us. And I was looking at that comment like, how could you say something like that? It's the Giants with Danny DeVito at quarterback. Damn, if that person wasn't prophesizing. We made Tommy DeVito. Listen to what I'm about to say. We made Tommy DeVito a made man today. Let that sink in. We made Tommy DeVito. Hey, Tommy! You see this kid over here? Look at this kid. We grabbed him by his cheeks. Gave him 2 little slaps on his cheek and said, "You did good, son. You did good. You're a made man, Tommy. You're a made man." We made Tommy DeVito a made man today. You know how hard it is to make a guy who's been a bum, who admits that he lives with his parents and his mom still makes up his bed? You know how hard it is to make a guy like that look good? And we did that shit today. Jesus, help us all. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, defense looked worse than the chocolate chip scrapnel I got going on in my toilet. All of those wasted resources and investments for nothing. Guess what? We get to see everything change this offseason. Everything changes this offseason. I ain't tripping. It is what it is. The Great. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, one more thing. Keep up the great work. Still catching all the episodes when I get a chance. It's good to catch the episode live. Stay solid, Lou. I appreciate you, man. And I hope whatever you got going on, I hope you are killing it in all of your endeavors, my man. It's always good to hear from you. Really appreciate you. I digress. Anyway, that is the last super. I'm going to get out of here. Sunday Night Football is about to be upon us. You guys have a good one. We will have the phone lines open on Tuesday night. This shit is bad, man. So be prepared for that. I got another announcement for y'all, hopefully tomorrow. So if no other reason than you just want to support the kid, tune in tomorrow. I should have something for y'all tomorrow, an announcement. So y'all stick around for at least that, okay? Don't abandon me quite yet, okay? HTTC, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, unlike you, Lou, I set myself up for failure. This loss broke my heart and disappointed me like a parent. To see them smiling and dapping their players up in our crib, yeah, you got to, so you got to know what, like, you can't ignore what's been shown to you already. We haven't won a game at home since week 1 against Arizona. Like, this shouldn't have been a surprise to you. They were capable of doing this, and they did it. So, you just got to know who you're dealing with. Know thyself and know thy opponent. Right? So, anyway, I digress. Y'all get out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I might have an announcement for y'all, so y'all stick around. I look forward to chopping it up with y'all. Y'all rest easy, man. It's going to be a long off season. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.